Arachnid Soul at Ye Old Nerdcast, your mic is muted.
There we go. So what I realized that right off top because
Arachnid Soul.
Windows forced a update on me, and that always resets my properties. Also, my thing is really, I don't know why. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Nerdcast. It is Devin, broadcasting as always live from an undisclosed location in the center of Texas. Oh shit! On a pretty chill Friday evening. How's everybody doing out there? How are you doing, Arachnid? Welcome back to the stream.
Soul. Windows updates break so much audio stuff. Discord and OBS.
Oh, don't I know it?
Arachnid Soul, doing well.
Don't I know it? But I'm doing all right myself right now. So far, so good. Gonna be talking X-Men 97. I did this with Royal for season 1, and it was a lot of fun. And I had totally slept on season 2's launch. I forgot all about it. But I mentioned it to Royal. I was like, hey, do you want to... Why am I so choppy? What is going on here? What the fuck is... Why am I so goddamn choppy? Hold on one second. Technical difficulties. I think I can fix this. Okay. On one second.
Arachnid Soul, X-Men is one of those rare things that have eluded me. I was around when the original show was on and never watched, and I've seen none of the movies. Arachnid Soul, people love it though, including my GF.
Okay, maybe that'll be better. Maybe that'll be better. All right, let me see if I can. I like it. I mean, I grew up with it though. I grew up as an X-Men nerd, so I'm glad that it's back. All right. Oh, this is gonna fuck my Hold on one second. My audio is all fucked up again. I'm gonna have to go through my shit. Which one is it? That one. Okay. Plug that in. All right, now I hear you. There we go. Hey. I have no clue. Why are you upside down? My camera? Dude, this Windows update completely fucked everything. There we go. What? Why? Why the hell are you upside down? Which views You're telling me. I don't know what's going on with You're just coming at us upside down for some reason. Ah, it's fucking with me when you do that. It's like a David Lynch movie. Oh, Jesus. I wonder if it's something I can see. I don't know. I am very confused too. There's got to be some reason. Hmm. see. Okay. Oh boy. Technical difficulties all abound. That's not me though. It's not a me thing. If you turn yourself upside down on your cam, we can all just turn our monitors upside down to be fine. Yeah, that sounds like the logical solution. Everybody have blood rushing to their brains all night. I can quote the Lamb Chop song while humming na 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 na, or however you phonetically hum the X-Men theme. Yo, what's up, Vince? Welcome back to the stream. How are you doing tonight? Let's see. Oh man, okay. Well, gotta figure out everything. Oh, why didn't it? Oh, you're still upside down. You didn't find anything? You're fine. Orientation setting. Oh yeah, you're on your iPad, aren't you? Are you using the front facing camera or the back facing? I wonder if wait, hold on. You know how you could orientation lock? Lock the orientation and then flip it. Might be video settings for Discord. I looked, I didn't see anything in there. Plus, I don't know what the setting like. Did you? I mean, did you do the orientation lock? That might be the. And it didn't flip it. Oh, that is so weird. Fix your video orientation during Discord call. Force your iPad to re-register the gyroscope by toggling portrait orientation lock. I guess. Yeah, I guess if you go to, I guess, Control Center. Swipe down the top corner of the control. Tap the portrait orientation lock icon to turn it on. Then tap it again to turn. Actually, this says here. I'm gonna copy paste the steps to you. That's like step 2. Here we go. So step 1 is to restart Discord. Step 2 is to do the toggle orientation lock off and then back off. 3, go to your iPad settings, general iPad or on iPad storage for Discord, and then tap offload app to clear potential glitches without losing your chat log. I don't know if you need to update your app if the app is updated, but maybe do in steps 1. All right. Oh, tech support. Tech support. Always something, huh? Always something. When I see McDonald's making special cups for a movie and I hear they spent $100 zillion making the film, I just know I'm skipping it. I've heard the movies are good though. A couple of them are. There's some real turds in that bunch though. This is why you need some friends from India, because you never know when you'll need tech support. I mean, I'm pretty good tech support myself. I mean, the only thing tech support in India does is look up a run book, and that's really it. They just do what I just did, only for lower wages. Have any of you guys, well, I guess maybe not you, Arachnid, but Vince, have you been watching X-Men 97? I've got 2 cameras of me up right now. I'll go ahead and kill this call. It's not necessary. Oh, actually, you know what? Earlier, I was playing Megabonk. So I guess maybe I can resume that for a little while she's cuz I have it on my pause screen still. Yeah. I'll just wait. I'll just do this and wait for her back. I'm doing a challenge, but I'm pretty OP in it right now. Nope, didn't watch the first season either. Oh man, you are behind. Oh, AI voice TTS isn't working. I did play some of the X-Men game on Genesis back in the mid 90s, the one with Nightcrawler or whatever his name was, the only character I'd use because he could walk through walls. My friend had it and I played over there. Yeah, I used to love I was jealous. I was always jealous of the Genesis because it had an X-Men game, and at the time the Super Nintendo didn't. But eventually, Capcom put out an X-Men game for the Super Nintendo, and I snatched that shit up right away. Actually, you know what? I was thinking about that the other day because when the Sony announcement dropped about them getting rid of physical games, like one of the arguments that people were making at the time was like, oh man, so like nobody's like kids aren't going, or I guess kids or parents aren't going to experience the joy of Christmas morning and unwrapping a physical game and seeing the kid's face, etc., etc. I was like, yeah, that's actually, a pretty good point, pretty good memory, solid childhood memories there. And I thought about the X-Men game on the SNES because that wasn't a Christmas thing for me. What had actually happened was I was in one of the videos that trying to put together here. I talk about it a little bit. I was a notoriously bad student. Uh didn't really care about doing homework and shit like that. And my mom after one of my report cards, my mom took my consoles away from me. Oh, you're back. Look at that. Okay, now we're ready. Oh yeah. Chat back up. Oh yeah, okay. Well, I'm glad. See, you don't need tech support from India. I handled it just fine. So, there you go. All right, now we're ready. Now we're ready to roll. Okay. Hi everybody. This is Royal, who you know. Those of you who are in here, maybe there's somebody who snuck in who might not be familiar, but it's been a while. We did this for season 1, which I feel like was 6 years ago or something. It was a lot has happened. A lot has happened in life in general. Uh between the last time we talked X-Men and now. Uh so you're not even in the same space anymore. You're in a whole other state. Brand new eye color, brand new hair, brand new car. Yeah, you got a vehicle now. That's all that matters. New to you is new enough, so long as we're not hearing Royal. You should be coming in through the desktop, honestly. Could you talk? Oh wait, hold on a second. Hold on a sec. What the fuck? How did that break?
Is it Discord?
No, it's my OBS.
Uh,
Okay.
yes, I can say something.
Okay.
And I'm saying it.
There we go.
Okay.
That should still work. Okay. You hear it now? Okay.
Hi.
I don't understand. I changed my desktop settings for audio a while ago, but I don't know. It just plopped right back for some. Anyway. Anyways, the reintroduction. Royal, you were saying that you have brand new what?
A car, a car, apartment, brand new, not a brand new state, but I'm back in Kentucky.
Back in
Um,
Kentucky.
Back in Kentucky, new job. Bought a
Yeah.
car last weekend. So,
How are
well,
you?
like it went through Monday. So I picked it up on Monday
Oh, okay. Awesome.
and
How do you like it?
yeah, I like it. I'm getting used to it. I think it needs some of that what do you call the like fuel injector business. Um,
Cleaner? The
you know
fuel
what I
injector
mean?
cleaner?
Yeah. I
Wait,
think
how
it
that?
needs a
Wait, you
little.
bought a car and it needs fuel injected cleaner? What the
I think
hell?
it might. Well, so here's the thing. So it's fine, but I have like about a 30 to 40 minute commute, and getting from like it doesn't have a lot of pickup. You know what I mean? Like if
Yeah.
I'm trying to like turn into the highway, it's not terrific. And I'm like, what's going on? But I think part of it is that this car has like a fuel economy mode and it was set to that
Oh,
fuel
okay.
economy mode. And
That'll
I'm
do it.
like, oh, okay.
Because
Because I was like, what's
my car has that too, and I always keep it on eco mode because gas mileage. But like
hmm
in those instances where I need a little bit of like if I got to get ahead of somebody,
hmm
and I'm trying to merge onto the highway at quickly if it's like a short on ramp, then I can
yeah.
put it into drive mode or sport mode, I think it's called, and it actually does make a noticeable difference on my acceleration.
Because I noticed that it was lit, like the eco thing was lit. And I'm like, but what is it? And so I was like, I gotta deal with this. So I looked at the manual. When I got home today, I looked at it, but I turned it off, and so we'll see what happens. But yeah, I haven't owned a car since 2017.
Oh Jesus, been a while
Yeah.
then.
Yeah, it's been a while.
How you been
But
getting
it's
around?
fine. The bus.
A bus. Okay, hey, I have no
The
problem with that.
bus.
I am uh pro
I know. This is
transit
a pro
public.
public transit
Yes.
stream.
There we go. That's what I want.
We want transit for everyone, and we want high speed rail, and we want it now.
Yes, absolutely. So I hope that your car works out well for you, but at the same
Me
time,
too. My best friend and her husband came up to help me go car shopping because I don't know how to car shop. So it was very helpful.
see if I can fashion a little doing something fancy over here with my production. That gonna fit decent. All right, I think that's good. I think we're looking good. All right, cool. All right. So you got a new car, new job, new apartment, new everything, and there's also a new season of X-Men 97. There's a lot of new going on.
There
So we
is.
got to catch up. We got to catch up
Let's.
because we've got 5 episodes out now and there's been a lot that's happened. I don't know how you feel about it. What's your general vibe on season 2 so far?
Um, Here's my thing, and this may be unpopular. These episodes with like En Sabanur, where they're in ancient Egypt, like bored me to death.
Okay.
I didn't care. I was like, this is so frustrating. I'm tired of Charles and Eric screwing everything up.
It
Get
kind of
back to those other guys.
it
Because, like, that X Force episode, I was like, yes,
that
yes.
was cool. That was cool. I did like you're basically talking about like the first 4 episodes, I think.
Yeah.
So like
hmm
that's not a good sign if you think that like the first 4 of the 5 episodes were boring. I
No,
guess episode
not the
2 was
first.
the
Well,
X-Force
like,
one.
so the first one is the kind of like a split, right? It's like
Yeah.
the other team that's in the future and then the team that's in the past. The second episode is X-Force. And
Yes.
but the third and fourth
The
are
Rise of
almost
Apocalypse, yeah.
entirely like this apocalypse backstory, which I just like the way that Charles and Eric are acting just makes me insane.
Okay.
And
I think that
I
speaks
was it
to
was just very frustrating. And then the Wolverine one was very exciting.
okay. I think it kind of speaks to a little bit to like my general. I'm hesitant to use the word problem, but I guess it is a little bit of a problem I have with season two. Is that so many of the characters just kind of don't feel like the characters, right? It feels
You think
like
so?
yeah, I because you're right. I think that like for the most part, the behavior of Xavier is kind of sort of in line with Xavier,
I
but
mean, he
like
messes a bunch of stuff up, which is like on brand.
that is on brand for him. But the Magneto part, like it was weird. Like Magneto was kind of like a mentor to Apocalypse in like this weird with this weird plan to like, oh, we're gonna make
We can
him
change the whole
yeah,
timeline by
if
making him good
yeah, but we're
or
gonna make
like
him we're gonna make him good by way of like storming a citadel and killing a bunch of people or whatever. And it's like you're still going along with Apocalypse's general plan. Like, I don't know how this is supposed to change the timeline. It feels acceleration is more than anything. So I kind of didn't quite
I
get that.
I love Bishop. I love him.
Oh, I always like
He's
Bishop.
yeah, he's terrific. He looks terrific. The voice actor is great. The section where like Magneto fries all their bands made me I just wanted to start screaming. I think I said what the fuck out loud. Like
Yeah, that I can't imagine anything less responsible than like, oh, we're trapped in the past. Hey, I've got stuff to get us to the future. Destroyed. Like, what the fuck, man? You could
JK.
have like, I'm just gonna magnetically bring them all to me and just kind of hold them. You know,
Hold
like I
on.
could just do
No.
that and just keep
I
keep.
mean, we're looking at a Magneto who has already ripped the adamantium out of Wolverine.
You know what? Actually, I thought
So
about that too. How did I guess I didn't watch the season one recap. Do you remember how that ended? Because like I remember him ripping the metal out of Wolverine, but
well, I think it wasn't as dramatic as a Wolverine 75 was. I think they had
yeah,
like Morph in the jet pretending to be Jean, telling him to hang on.
yeah, that was weird.
Um, but I don't super
But
recollect. I
so
really liked Wolverine number 75. I think that's the
oh, it's one of
first
the best.
Wolverines. I think it's the first Wolverine I ever bought. And one of the first X-Men comics I ever bought was Wolverine 75.
Yeah, that was Fatal Attractions. After he
And
had
the
had that
Fatal
shit. Yeah,
Attractions.
he
Yeah,
was on
and then
the
he goes off into Canada on this long, journey to find himself. Where there is like, and I will say this, like this Wolverine episode, there's like a segment with Lady Deathstrike who's mad at him, and it's just like I think it's either 76 or 77 where he goes to Canada and Lady Deathstrike is there and is like gonna murder him, and then
yeah.
he like pulls the claws out in their bone and she's like, forget it.
Yeah,
That
because
like
her thing with him was like it had to do with the adamantium.
yeah,
Because like
she was like, well, this is it. I don't care anymore. And she
yeah.
just leaves him there like after trouncing his ass in like the Alpha Flight people's basement or something.
I have very vague
um
memories of that issue.
It was very like emotional. I feel like it was just very like it was this big ratcheted up tension and then like a super deflation
Yeah.
of tensions. And I kind of wish there was the ability to do that in the show, but because you're introduced to Lady Deathstrike like right then, it doesn't really work.
You
So
know,
they did a little kind of bit of that, but she's like, "What?" This person, the Victor Creed characterization is perfect. The Sabretooth is
yeah.
great.
All right. I have a lot of problems with that episode. Um I'm gonna
Please tell
say
me.
I'm gonna save it because I want to do like a brief overview of like the other episodes real quick. So
Okay.
the first episode, there was that chunk where Cyclops and Jean are in the future. and they're
Mhm.
talking to Lady Ascani or and that whole chunk where they're trying to figure out what to do with Nathan, etc. I'm I'm kind of with you in the In Sabador part where I was kind of bored by it, but I get what they were trying to set up. I just don't know if it was I don't know if it was worth it to set all that up when because it's like, oh, this is the prophesized child that's gonna defeat apocalypse, etc., etc. And then like the next episode, he's just creating a strike force of mutants, of mutant shadow black ops killers and shit. And it's like, okay, this is kind of weird. There's a disjointment between like the child prophesized to defeat apocalypse and like
Mhm.
some SEAL Team 6 dude killing guys in the shadows. It's like, okay, like there's a gap to be bridged here that the show, it doesn't have enough time, I guess, to do that.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think that's
The
a
thing too, like for me, is I guess I because and I'm not sure, and you can correct me if I'm wrong because I don't know the answer. But I feel like that first episode isn't that basically that like Cyclops and Phoenix miniseries where they're like
yeah.
in the future raising Nathan?
Yeah, it was a truncation of that. It was I forget what it's called. It
Okay.
was either called Cyclops and Phoenix or it was called Red and Slim or something like that. But
Yeah.
yeah, it was
I
just
knew
a
they made like a little, and I never read it. So I'm not super like
I
I
have
think
it. I think I own it.
I'm kind of in over my head with this season so far because the like the Cyclops and Phoenix, the like Apocalypse origin story, even some of these characters with Wolverine, I'm not super familiar with. And
Okay.
so
I'll just say
like
this then.
the storyline to me is like I'm like I don't know what is really what.
I'll just say this. It's fine to not know about Cyclops and Jean Grey in the future. It's not that interesting of a story, to be honest with you. Like there are some points here and there where it's like, oh, that's interesting, but honestly, Age of Apocalypse was significantly more interesting than that stuff. So it's okay for you to get away with that. The origin story of Apocalypse, I always thought it was interesting. He's like the first mutant, and
Hmm.
you don't really know what his mutant power is originally. I guess it's strength, but I guess over time he accumulates powers through his. What the most interesting part of that to me was seeing the Celestial tie-in because that's what
Hmm.
unlocked his ability, and he has the ship. The ship is a celestial starship. So like being able to see him communicate with the celestial, and that's like how he becomes basically
Who
immortal
he
and
is. Okay.
invincible. Yeah. I thought that was cool. And I thought that the aesthetics of how they handled that scene, it looked cosmic. Like the X-Men,
I think it looks really nice. Like
yeah.
the especially, and I think the way that they designed, because like I said, I'm not familiar like even Apocalypse as a character, I'm just like I don't understand. I don't understand Apocalypse because I never read any of these. I was like, what does he do? What's his deal? What are his powers? He just seems like, and I like that they made him grow large because I'm like, I feel like he's gigantic, but in some issues he's not gigantic.
Yeah. He likes to
But
get gigantic.
I feel I feel the same way about Apocalypse that I feel about the Shadow King and Mr. Sinister, which is like you're just here being a villain and I don't really actually know what you're doing. Does that make sense? Like I'm just like you're a villain. I don't know why you're a villain. I don't know what your powers are. And why do you look crazy? And that's
That's you know what? That's actually a solid runner for like I think I have answers for at least two of those dudes. But
okay.
you're not wrong. So like I think what I liked about the In Sabador stuff is it kind of gives you a seed of his motivation where he
Hmm.
was a slave that was abandoned by his mom and mistreated and abused or whatever. And so for him, survival of the fittest is like the only mantra that gives his life purpose. He doesn't know anything else. Like he is singularly defined by his strength as a mutant, and every relation that he has to him is colored by whether or not he's strong enough to endure whatever savagery.
I think
So,
also too, like, not to get too like deep about it, but when you consider actually living in a time period like that, yes, like that's exactly how it would be.
yeah, of
Like
course.
you're not going to be constrained by like a moral of the 21st century.
Yeah, no.
You were like freed from slavery because you're stronger than everybody else. That's it. Like
Yeah.
that's it. There's nothing that's going to like, especially like to be like born or as a child be enslaved. There's very little that can keep you out of that. You know
Right.
what I mean? Like you would have to be like you'd have to rise in class very quickly or something, and it's not happening. Like he's
Right.
clearly not, like he hasn't gained enough like class status to rise above like you can just become enslaved
Right.
basically.
Which is,
And
what
that's
happened.
yeah, it's like, yeah, that's all there is. There's not like, and so when you have Eric in here, like trying to give you a philosophy lesson, it's not important. It does not matter
Right. He
in this
doesn't
time
he
period.
doesn't have like the context that
No,
Magneto has. It's just like some random dude that's like, "Hey, everything you've only ever known in your life, let's go ahead and disregard that and do some other weird
I am
amorphous
from the
shit."
future, and let me tell you
Yeah.
something right now.
But
There's this guy named Adolf Hitler. Um, yeah,
yeah, so
it's just
but
the yeah.
I think that so that's Apocalypse's motivation. And as far as his powers, who knows? He just kind of does stuff.
It's never been clear to me.
It's never been super clear to me either. Like, I don't know, he grows, he's strong, he can make a gun out of his hand. That's or a hammer sometimes out of his hand. That's pretty much the long and short of it. And he feels like he is destined. And this is the one thing I actually did like that they included with the celestial thing is Apocalypse has always kind of seemed like he was driven by a destiny to rule over Earth or whatever.
Hmm.
And that's the whole driving thing behind the Age of Apocalypse or the far future with the Ascani, where I mean at some point Apocalypse just fucking wins, I guess. But this actually gives you where that came from because it was the Celestial that told him that this is your destiny. You are the force for which, or what was it like? You are the rocks for which they graves crash against, or something like that. And it's like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, so this was like the seed that was planted in his mind about needing to. And I don't know if that's him believing it or if it's like a brainwashing sort of thing, the way that he brainwashes his horsemen. But that's what I got from that, and I was like, okay, that explains why he's singularly driven to do this.
There's a lot of murder in these episodes.
Oh yeah, yeah,
There's a lot of murder. I was a little I was a little surprised, honestly. I have to say, like I was like, "Oh, they just killed that guy."
yeah, and I
Okay.
guess spoiler alerts for this as well, because I'm not gonna shy away from spoilers. But yeah, that whole 2-3 episode arc ends with Apocalypse just blasting fucking Magneto to pieces. And honestly, in a one-to-one bout between those two, I kind of get the sense that Magneto would probably crush him. Like if you really thought about it, like Magneto's pretty fucking powerful. And
Yeah.
again, we're talking about
They also killed one of Apocalypse's horsemen in that X-Force issue. Like the
they
X-Force
did,
episode.
yes.
They were like,
Or
"Don't look."
yeah, that was there was comic book wise, there was an era of X Force that I wasn't really paying attention to comic books for. I'm familiar with it, but it was like when Wolverine was a member of the X Force cable, and like basically they
Mhm.
were Cyclops's Black Ops Hitman team. So like that was like the real dark period of X Force when they would go around killing people. Um, I guess they were trying to blend a little bit of that in there because like the OG X-Force, they were all just the New Mutants that Cable took in.
Yeah.
And they weren't
Mhm.
really doing, assassination operations. Like they would be a little bit more hardcore about how they handled things, but they weren't like deliberately tracking people down to kill them or anything like that. But that other X Force, I don't know if it has any kind of name or era associated with it.
The I'm familiar with like two two total X forces
Two total X
and
Forces.
two total X forces. Because I don't think I read I when they had what is that? You don't like it when they had Krakoa X Force. I don't know if I read Krakoa X Force. They
Yeah,
had
I definitely didn't.
I read some books, Krakoa books, but I don't think X Force was one. I think I read Excalibur and I think I read Marauders.
Okay.
Um, but I'm slightly familiar with like Rob Liefeld's X Force, like with Shatterstar and
Yeah.
Domino and stuff like that.
That's what I'm most familiar
And
with.
they completely rebooted X Force like with the teens, like the teens who are like on a reality show or something with Dupe. And I
Oh,
read that, but I could not like tell you very much about it anymore. I would have to
okay.
reread it to like brush up on it. And I don't think anyone particular I like when it came out, I loved it, but like I don't remember it anymore.
Fair enough. What did you think about
Because it
X
was so long
Factor
ago. In this episode or like in general?
in this episode?
I like them in this episode because I think they're a bunch of fucking sellouts in general. And I'm like, yeah, that's what you get for selling out to Val and the United States government. And I'm glad these people are giving you a bunch of shit for being tools. Because that's what X Factor is a bunch of freaking tools.
I don't, you know what? Like, though this X Factor team was like my favorite. Like, there was a period where I liked X Factor more than X-Men. From
I did
this,
read X Factor, like, and I did read X Factor with this team of like Havoc,
yeah,
Polaris, Multiple Man, Ron Sinclair, Rain Sinclair, Strong Guy. Who else was
yeah,
in it?
Quicksilver.
Quicksilver was in X Factor.
Oh
Oh,
yeah.
he was in like old X Factor though, right?
No, he was in this build. He was on that team.
He
It was,
was.
yeah, it was great because he hated everybody. That's why Quicksilver is like my favorite, one of my favorite characters.
He does
You
hate everyone.
he is,
He
but not,
does hate everyone.
but not in like, he hates everybody in like the most angry pissant, like messy gay guy way. And it's just so great
Asshole.
because it's the one character, like, you have all of these different little, especially when you watch the MCU movies, your characters all fit into like one type of character. You either have a quippy guy, or you have like the solemn guy, or the brooding guy. And and that's pretty much it. You sort your characters into that one. But there's never been a character in any of those movies that had the personality of like a Quicksilver, just someone that's just angry and bitchy and like
He's so mad.
he's
He's
constantly
like, and
mad.
always has been. He's just because he's Magneto's kid.
Yeah. Well, there was a great issue of X Factor where he explains exactly why he's always mad. And he's like, oh God, let me see if I could look it up, because it's such a great little moment.
I was reading X Factor like around late the late not in terms of, but probably still in terms of like time period, but in terms of issues like the late 90s of it, where they had that lady Haven who was like the mutant, who I think she was a mutant,
Yeah.
and she was like, I can cure whatever. And Wolfsbane was stuck in wolf form, and she turned her back into her human form, and everyone was like, oh, holy shit. And she was supposed to cure Multiple Man of legacy virus, and she went and like did whatever. Like, it looks, when you read it, it looks like she pulls them into like a different dimension and then pulls them out again.
Yeah.
And she does that, and he just dies. And it was like a big deal, like that Multiple Man was dead.
Yeah, I remember that. It must have been, I think that was like either
It was like
issue.
a foil cover. I think it
It
was
was
like X
100.
Factor number 100.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it was number 100. I think I have that one too.
It was, yeah. It was definitely X Factor 100. And I just thought she had such a cool like outfit and everything. Like it was a very interesting little storyline.
Okay, so this is Quicksilver explaining to his therapist why he's always angry. He goes, "Tell me, doctor, have you ever stood in line at a banking machine behind a person who didn't know how to use it, or wanted to buy stamps at the post office, and the fellow in front of you wants to know every single way he could ship his package to Istanbul, or gotten some counter idiot at a Burger King who can't comprehend Whoppers no pickles?" And she goes, "Yes, well, yes, I suppose. And how do you feel on those occasions?" He answers, "Impatient, irritated, a little angry sometimes." "Precisely, because your life is being slowed to a crawl by the inabilities or inconvenient behaviors of others. It's not a rational or considerate attitude to have, but it is there. Now imagine, doctor, that everyone you work with, everywhere you go, your entire world is filled with people who can't work cash machines. I'd venture to say, doctor, that you'd suffer from PMS. That you would suffer from PMS." And then he says, "Get the picture? Not so puzzling now, is it?" And that entire time he's explaining that, he's putting together like a 1,000-piece puzzle thing, and he finishes it before he answers it. So like that's why, like, and when I read that, I was like, that makes perfect sense. Like,
Yeah, it really does. It really as someone who is also like very impatient, it makes I'm sure he is like the most impatient person on the planet.
yes, and he has no choice because nobody is as fast as he is. So he just
Can I
has.
just say, um, first of all, I want to tell you, Devin, that like I because we're in this call, I can't see the Twitch chat. So if
Oh,
someone is saying something, let me know because
okay.
I can't see it.
Well, Haunted
Because
Wisp
I'm
said,
just full
"How's
screen
it
on this
going?"
call.
I guess I wonder
Hi,
if I can
Wisp.
share. See, hold on a second. Because I usually, you just reminded me. I usually do share. I didn't this time. Going to that button.
I think also before I was like on my computer. Oh, that's funny. Um, and so it was easier for me to see all this kind of thing,
All right. Can you see
you
the
know.
comic I was sharing?
A little bit. It's just because I'm on this iPad, so
Oh, it's kind of small. Okay.
it's small
Well,
for me.
the
Yeah.
chat's up here too, which is also kind of small for
Oh,
you.
that's like those are little dots for me.
Oh boy.
That's teensy weensy. It's okay. Just let me know. It's not a big deal.
I actually have vocalize coming messages turned on, but for some reason it's not working.
Maybe because we're in the call.
It might that might actually that could be a
I have to say, like Jubilee wreaking havoc is really enjoyable for me. I really I really like because she's very powerful and I think that was downplayed for a long time and then they were like, you know what? She shoots a firework, like amp it
yeah.
up a little bit and she's really amping it up and it's cool to see it.
Yeah, that was cool to see too. Like that whole X Factor thing, like I liked it. I definitely got that they were meant to be like the turncoats for the mutants. And I don't think, and this is another thing that is like, I don't think they would have done that. Like that particular team would not have, because they've had all of them have had experiences with Genosha and
Also
the
like
slave collars.
Polaris has been like a villain before.
Yeah.
Like Havoc is kind of like, you know, the feel like the least stable Summer's brother. I
Yes, he's like easily duped for sure, but
yeah,
he's
like easily duped, flies off the handle, just like,
but he,
can't hold it together.
but I don't see any of them being okay with rounding up mutants and putting collars on them. Like to me that was like a little bit too far. Like tracking
Yeah.
tracking down mutants is one thing, particularly if like they're causing a problem, and the government's like, we need to stop this. I can see that. But like for
Hmm.
them to just be like, hey, we're just rounding up mutants and putting them in a flying internment camp, like
Yeah.
that felt out of character.
Especially especially Wolfsbane.
Yeah, she definitely wouldn't have gone for
Especially
that.
Wolfsbane. Yeah, she wouldn't have done it. I don't think.
Yeah, so
But
I didn't really dig that.
Yeah, I see what you're saying in terms of like the characters, but I feel like that's like the inherent complication of X Factor is that kind of like I feel like originally it was kind of like, oh, it's we're gonna pretend we're doing this and like the
Yeah,
regular people don't know we're actually mutants or whatever.
yeah.
Right? That was like the original conceit was like we're agents of the government. People don't know we're mutants. We're gonna like contain these people and then we can just like discreetly ship them off to the professor so they can get training.
So a brief history for people in the chat that might not know history of X-Men. The OG X-Men came out like in the, I can't remember the actual year, but it was like the 60s or some shit.
60s, I
And
want to say
they 60,
64 maybe.
64, 65, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
Um, the original team, Cyclops, Marvel Girl / Jean Grey, Beast, Iceman, and Angel. And that was the X-Men team up until Giant Size X-Men. Giant Size X-Men was Cyclops, and they introduced the whole new cast, which was Nightcrawler, Colossus, Storm, Wolverine, Thunderbird for a couple of issues.
Yeah. They killed him off
And
pretty
yeah,
fast.
so what ended up happening when Giant Size, because X-Men was popular when it started, then it kind of faded in popularity, and then they released Giant Size X-Men, and Giant Size X-Men popped off, and then the Dark Phoenix saga super popped off, and that was when X-Men took over the whole Marvel universe for comics for popularity around that era. And Chris Claremont, the original writer, or not the original writer, but the writer at that time, the one responsible for the X-Men Renaissance, he wanted to retire Cyclops and the original cast. You know, he wanted, okay, Cyclops marries some woman that I guess looks like Jean or whatever, and they go to Alaska and they retire. And occasionally he'll pop in for an X-Men adventure here and there, but he was supposed to have retired and just stayed in Alaska. And then the whole team moves on with Storm as the leader and all that sort of stuff. But after the Dark Phoenix saga, Marvel was like, yeah, you're not fucking doing that. Like, this has never been more popular. Bring his ass back. So Chris Claremont had to concoct a reason for Cyclops to be back and get back in the game. And what that turned into was X Factor. And the OG X Factor are all the 5 original X-Men who aren't at the school, at Xavier's school anymore. They use Angel, Warren Worthington's wealth to create a private company under the guise called X Factor, under the guise of solving the mutant problem. If there's a mutant nearby, you call X Factor, they're going to come take care of them. But what they actually were doing was they would respond to those calls posing to be humans. They had like Ghostbuster suits and shit, like they were actually, busted mutants. But
In
they
a
would
very
find
dorky costume.
they were very dorky, but they would find the mutants and then they would like be like, hey, we're gonna help you. We're gonna, underground railroad you someplace safe, right? So
Mm.
that's what they were doing, but they ended up gaining a bad reputation amongst mutants because mutants didn't know what their game was. Mutants just saw
Yeah.
them as like, hey, those are the jerks that are for profit rounding up mutants and shit. So
And they were very like there was a lot of tension
yeah.
even with X-Men team members who knew them. Like when
Oh
you think
yeah.
about like Mutant Massacre, like that they were like at odds, very much at odds.
Oh yeah, yeah. It
Um,
was a big ordeal. It was a real big ordeal. I can't remember what constituted the switch off between X-Men being the OGs that posed as mutant hunters and X Factor being like Havoc's team that worked with the government in some. I don't remember
I
what
want
that
to
was.
say I I don't know if this is the case, but I feel like it might remember when they thought the X-Men were dead but they were in like fucking Australia.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
They
yeah,
were in the
yeah.
outback. I
Fall of
want to say
Mutants.
it was something about that, but like I'm not sure.
I th- well, I think you're on the right path because Havoc was a part of that X-Men team when they were in the outback. So
Oh, that's right. He was.
it was something to do with Mystique though, because Mystique was leading. I think Mystique and I don't know what her team was called. I can't remember. It's her,
Oh,
Destiny,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Blob,
They,
Pyro,
those
Avalanche.
weren't they the Marauders?
No, no, no. They worked for the
No.
government. They were the original
Oh,
mutant team
that's
that
right.
worked for
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah,
government.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. I know. Yeah, I remember this. I remember
Yeah.
this. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I think the transition happened somewhere between them and then after the Outback X-Men went through that mirror and everything kind of reset.
Mhm.
Somewhere around there is when that transition happened. I just can't remember what
Yeah.
it actually
I'm
was.
not sure when it happened either. By the time I was reading X Factor, it was the Polaris and Havoc team.
Yeah. I need to
Um,
go back and look then. Now I'm really curious. But
yeah. Um,
were the Marauders in season 1 of X-Men 97? They do the Mutant Massacre? I can't remember.
I can't remember
Because they
either.
because they did a lot of stories from that era. They did a little bit of Fall of Mutants with
Mhm.
Forge and Storm and
Yeah.
was his
That
Aze
was
or whatever.
life death.
Yeah.
Was that Forge and Storm thing.
Yeah. So that was right from Fall of Mutants. They did Inferno. That's the whole Goblin Queen thing.
They did do Inferno.
But leading up to both of those was Mutant Massacre. Mutant Massacre was like the event that kind of kicked it all off
Mhm.
because that was when the Marauders really fucked up the X-Men. And Wolverine's healing factor wasn't 100%, and Cyclops wasn't around, and Magneto was in control of the New Mutants. Uh,
That's right.
but
That's
yeah,
right.
because
And they
Xavier was
were very
gone.
they felt very weird about it.
Yeah. So it's weird that they didn't do them. If they, I mean, maybe we're just not remembering it, but if they,
We were kind of wondering at the end of the where like Apocalypse kills Magneto, because first I was like, they did say the phrase Age of Apocalypse, and I was like, are we getting Age of Apocalypse? And then at the end, he like kills Magneto and the helmet comes off, and I was like, are we getting Onslaught? And I'm just not sure
see,
like what direction we're gonna go.
that's why I was asking you about the end of season 1 where Magneto pulls Wolverine's metal out, because that was
Hmm.
the inception of Onslaught. In the comic, after Magneto pulled his metal out of his bones, Xavier
Because
Psi
Xavier
attacked.
mind wipes him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that planted the seed of Magneto's essence in Xavier's brain that eventually grew it to
Hmm.
being Onslaught.
Yeah.
So that's why I was like, wait a second, did that not happen in the cartoons? Or not?
I want to say they did it, but I just don't recall. I just don't recall. I didn't want to rewatch the whole
Yeah.
thing before I started it, so I just went on.
See, I feel like, and like a lot of the things that I have, the issues that I have with characters and character choices, I feel like what's going on with this show is because there is just so much lore and so many characters, and they're trying to communicate so many different like story arcs and developments and whatnot, that they have, in order to make it all fit into like 8 or 10 30-minute episodes or whatever it is, like
Mm.
they have to break things and rearrange
Yeah,
it in a way.
yeah, which is kind of fun, like to see where these like where you're getting all these pieces from.
Yeah, it is interesting, but it's also frustrating too, because it's like it never feel it's kind of like you ask your mom for McDonald's and she's like, okay, I'll get you some McDonald's on the way home. And then your mom comes home and then she has like these weird burgers she picked up at like, a bowling alley somewhere. And it's like, wait, this isn't McDonald's. It's like, it's good enough. You want a McDonald's? This is McDonald's. It's like, well, this is kind of
Yeah,
shitty. Like
yeah,
the bun is wet. Why is it so
yeah.
wet?
Yeah.
Like the cheese isn't even melted. Like this is the patty is oddly perfectly shaped. Like what's going on here? This is a weird burger.
Yeah, yeah,
This
yeah.
isn't McDonald's. Like it's a
No.
cheeseburger, but it's not McDonald's. And that's kind of how I feel about like this. It's like it has the markings of X-Men and some of it comes out here and there, but there's so much weird disjointed things that have been kind of altered that it feels like an imitation to me, of sorts. And I wonder if they shouldn't have tried to do so much. cut some characters, linger on a story for a season,
A
just
little
really,
bit,
yeah,
yeah.
like, because I don't understand what the purpose of spending so much time, like, and maybe it'll come to a head in the future episodes, but
Because this is a lot of time compared to season 1,
yeah,
like,
we
it's
spent
a
a
lot
lot of
of time to
time.
spend on this,
Yeah.
um, on this storyline. I really liked this was really interesting to me, and maybe it's silly, but the actually getting to see, like, Betsy Braddock in the Quanon body as Psylocke, but still with
They'll
the
have the British
accent
voice.
was really terrific because, like, it's not something that I immediately think about when I'm reading the book. Because, like, Betsy Braddock is British. Of course she
Yeah.
has a British accent. She's put in someone else's body. And now she's like, in the comic wise, she's back in her own body. Like, they split her apart from this other assassin's body, and she's her own person now. But and I think actually Betsy Braddock might be Captain Britain now.
Oh, okay.
But
I'm not even aware of that stuff.
I don't know. It's been a long time because I read Excalibur, like Krakoa era Excalibur, and Betsy Braddock is the star of Excalibur, and I thought it was terrific. But
Okay.
I I really like her as a character, and I like her in every aspect. So it was cool to have her there. I was like, of course, it's nice because, like, I don't read her. I don't necessarily read a comic with someone with a British. You know what I mean? Like, I don't
Yeah.
hear in my head the British accent, but, like, to hear it was great. I was like, this is terrific.
It
Love
was
to see Psylocke.
I liked that. I liked how jarring it was too, because I remember in the comic when that whole thing was unfolding, and it's like, wait a second, like Psylocke and Lana and OG Psylocke, what the fuck happened here? There's like two of them. Like, what the fuck is going on? One's Asian. They didn't.
There's
There
so
was
much,
no
yeah.
question. Like when all of a sudden the British woman comes back as an Asian woman, like there were no questions about that. Like this is weird. Like that
And
whole
then there were
sequence.
also two of them. There was, like, the clone of Quanon that was Revanche, and she died
Oh,
of
I forgot
legacy
about that.
virus.
Yeah,
That was the whole thing. I'm like, what the hell's happening here?
yeah.
There
X-Men
was
got a
some
little weird.
random, like, yeah, there was some random when Jim Lee was doing X-Men, like, Psylocke would be, like, randomly flirting with Cyclops in a weird way that never went anywhere. It was very confusing.
Oh yeah, it
Like,
didn't. It was like I remember that. I think that did they? No, I don't know. Maybe I'm misremembering. I remember that there was some flirtations and Jean was jealous, but they really didn't take it anywhere.
they
I-
didn't. It was very bizarre. Like, I just can't, like, convey enough, like, how weird it was to have these, because she's, like, hitting on him, like, incredibly, like, blatantly.
yeah, aggressively.
It's pissing Jean off. Cyclops is just standing there, like, what is happening right now?
Oh, but he was
And
he was he was fantasizing about her and Jean caught him. I remember that. That's what it was. I thought for a second, like, did they make out or something? But no, they didn't ever really actually make out. But Cyclops was fantasizing about her, and Jean caught him and got mad at him about it. But like, I think that was about the end of it. I think that's how that whole because
yeah,
like
it was.
the
It
story
just never
evolved into
went
other
anywhere.
things. Yeah,
It was always like a little small, like, aside within a larger issue. Like, it was never the basis of the issue, but it was
yeah.
happening for a while and then just went nowhere. It was very weird. I really love Morph. I feel like he's very gay for
Oh yeah, more.
Wolverine.
Yeah, yeah. That's.
And
I feel yeah, that is very deliberately,
yeah,
painted in that way.
it's very good. Please, so the other thing that I really liked was, like, I feel like that image of Wolverine turning into a brood is, like, really classic, but I haven't read that issue.
Okay,
So
so
I
all right.
don't know what actually happens. The only brood issue I read was the one with, like, Storm fighting the brood, which I think happens after Life Death.
Yeah, that is the one of the last I feel like that's one of the last big team battles in for the Outback era before the Reavers come back and fuck them up. I think that whole thing was fucking awesome. That the Outback X-Men versus the Brood, that was one of the best. And you got to find a way to find a copy online and
Oh
read through it
yeah,
because
I can read it.
it's really
I'll
good.
find it.
But so okay.
I read those old, like the older, like there's one where they're like actually in space, and I think like Storm is pregnant with like a brood or something.
Yeah, that
Like
was their first encounter with the Brood.
that
That
very
was
old stuff is the
yeah.
stuff I've read. So like I'm familiar with that like image of Wolverine as a brood, but I didn't read those. So you can like enlighten me as to like what was
So
similar and what was different.
okay. I mean, so this episode, the Wolverine episode, I didn't really like because it was just so random and nonsensical, and there were a lot of things that just rubbed me the wrong. Like, first of all, Wolverine gathering all the old Weapon X people back together, like,
Not happening.
not happening at all. Those motherfuckers all hate each other. Like, they all
And they hate him.
and they hate him. Like, and he
Like, I
hates
don't know
them.
about
Well, he doesn't hate
I
Maverick is actually they're on good terms with Maverick, but
who's
you
the
know,
other guy that was there, like other than
Kane,
Maverick? Who?
Kane, he was
Yeah.
the guy that died immediately, and that's pretty much
Yeah, I
his
don't
lot
know
in life.
him.
Yeah, you don't need to.
Okay.
But and then there was
But
Lady
like
Deathstrike and
and
Sabretooth.
Sabretooth. And like Sabretooth is not gonna do jack fucking shit
Nope.
for
Sabretooth
him.
would never like Sabretooth would show up just
Yukio
to
is
kill
not
him.
doing anything. Yeah. Like neither of them, they both hate Wolverine.
Yeah,
They're not gonna do it.
so the idea that they were all just doing a buddy road trip thing together is just absurd on the face of it. But
I
okay,
mean,
I'm
I
willing to go
kind of
with it
can
for the most
see
part.
it for revenge because that was the setup. Was like, let's go get revenge. I like, or it's not. You'd have to drag Victor Creed in those manacles
Here's the
with
thing.
like the muzzle.
If if they wanted to get this group of dudes together to do revenge, it would like I'm sorry, but Wolverine can't be the mastermind of that scheme. He's just not that guy. It would need to be
He's not
it
that
would need to be
guy.
Morph. Morph would need to be the mastermind behind. He would need to morph into somebody that Sabretooth would trust and trick him. And then even though Sabretooth would smell him, so that wouldn't work out either. But he'd
Yeah.
have to maybe if he morphed on a video call or something, and he'd morph into a person that Maverick would trust, and he'd morph into a person that Lady Deathstrike would, and like he is the mastermind that's like puppeting all these people who would otherwise not get together, and they all show up at the Weapon X facility
It'd
separately.
have to be like for sure. It would either have to be like trickery or force.
Yeah, some kind of
There's
coercion.
no way Logan is gonna be like, "Hey guys, we should go. Let's go revenge party." They would be like, "Fuck you."
Yeah, so like I had a huge problem with that, right? But okay, it doesn't matter. They're there, and Morph is beautifully,
Also there.
also there, be it a real pal. But they go into the facility and figure out that it's infested with Brood. So
Infested,
in
which is bad news.
very bad news, the Brood don't know how they got there to that facility. Like these are aliens from outer space. Like,
Yeah,
and they
are
just
from. I guess they kind of explain it.
did they? I don't remember.
I like they talk about it because they're like, "Oh, we can use this." Like they didn't explain how they got there. They're just like, "We got this alien DNA and we can maybe turn these soldiers into these unthinking hive mind things if they would just survive this adamantium process."
Well, that
But
was
it doesn't really explain how they got there.
that,
But
but that's like the key problem because like the Brood are not just like rabbits that you can
they're
catch in a
from
trap.
like they're from like deep like what Starjammers outer space.
Yeah,
This is like Scott Summers' dad on a road trip outer space.
and like they're fucking crazy powerful. And they're called the Brood because they can breed, like they'll infect you. Like that's what they so in that 80s comic when the Outback X-Men face them, they catch wind that something weird is happening in like Denver or something like that. So I can't quite remember the setup that got them to Denver, but when they got there, they recognized that what was going on was the Brood were infesting townsfolk. They were just planting. What they would do is they would
I
plant.
do remember that.
Yeah.
I vaguely, because wasn't it like something to do with that like preacher?
Yes, there was a preacher. That's the dude that Wolverine killed. So I can't remember how Wolverine was infected, but he was infected with the brood then, and he changed, but his healing factor
Healing factor, that was
rejected
it.
it.
You're right. I did read that.
Yeah, it
I
had.
did read that. It's just
Yeah,
been so long. Yeah, it was the healing factor.
yeah. Which
I did like this conceit of they can't survive the adamantium process. We're gonna dose him with this, and it's win-win because it gets rid of this brood that's infesting him, and he gets the claws back. Which I don't remember how. I don't know how they did that in the comic because he did get his skeleton back, right?
Yeah, okay. This is another. I mean, that's the main problem that I have with this episode is that. Well, before I get to that point, I just want to say that I am always happy when Omega Red shows up. He's probably one of my favorite villains of
You
all
do like
time.
Omega Red.
I love Omega Red. I think he's fucking awesome. And every time and he's like he's so destructive and just like revels in destruction. And I like the tentacles. They're like I can't remember. It's not vibranium, but I guess it's like some Soviet version of vibranium. And he's just beating the shit out of people with them and then like draining their power. He puts out death spores, which is kind of crazy to think about in its own right. Like he's like just a cool looking dude. He's like 6'12" or some shit. And he's got like long blonde hair and talks like Ivan Drago. Like it's just the full thing is awesome. So I'm always happy when Omega Red shows up. So that made me smile. But so on the adamantium thing, it it makes like I guess I can understand why they did it that way because they needed some way to get Wolverine his adamantium back, basically. And that was the vehicle for which they used to give him his adamantium. It's, oh, they'll reject the brood. It makes more sense. I mean, this is an adamantium facility. Like, why are they like they should have figured out pretty early on that these bugs weren't going to be cool with adamantium. And yeah, I don't understand what they were trying to do. It's almost like, well, this is the fire factory. Let's see if we can merge it with water. It's like I don't think it's gonna work out for you, but okay. But anyways, like I like the idea of like the healing factor rejecting it because that healing factor is a part of Wolverine. That's a part of his character. It and him being able to reject becoming the brood is a sign of his personal resilience and strength and perseverance. And so I think it's better that like he gets infected and he starts to turn and then he fights as he's like fighting it and then he fucking wins. And it's like, nope, not gonna do it today. Like to
Yeah.
me, that's cooler. But anyways,
Yeah, it is cooler. It is cooler.
so
You're right.
at the end of this episode, the conceit, and I don't know why any of these motherfuckers would just be cool with this, but the conceit was that like Wolverine deliberately tricked them to go because he wanted to get his adamantium back.
Yeah.
And
And they
like,
were like, this is trash.
okay, first of all, if
They were like,
if the
man, he's not even near the escape. He's gonna go get this shit back.
if
Um,
if the brood weren't at the facility, what was Wolverine's plan to get the adamantium injected into him?
it beats me.
Like, was he just gonna be like, oh man, the guys we came here to get revenge on are they're not here. Anyways, hey guys, why don't you hook me up to this machine and get me my metal back? Like, what was the plan? Like, it was happenstance.
Probably it would have been the same as with like, because the whole deal was like, let's split up. And he probably would have been like, well, let's split up. Morph
So-
here with me.
so
Hook me
he was
into
gonna
this shit.
he was gonna sneak away. Why did he need any of those guys to go with him to begin with? He could
I
have just
don't know.
he could have just gone by himself with more. Like, why? Like, it's very fortunate he didn't because I guess there were brood everywhere, but it just seems like such a
I
sloppy
don't
plan.
know.
And then like
Yeah, I don't know.
the real problem is like it kind of like the whole point is like they're highlighting, I guess, the selfishness of Wolverine. Like he would put his friend and I guess a bunch of other people he doesn't care about in danger just to like get his medal back, which is the 180-degree opposite of the character itself. Like
Yeah.
Wolverine is not selfish at all. Like that, he's famously a loner, I guess, or the degree in which he's selfish, he's a loner. He will do selfish things for himself, but he won't endanger anybody else for that. Like
No.
people usually force themselves to go with him on crazy junkets like this. So like the
Yeah.
idea
Because
that
he's like, no, I'll do it. Don't worry. Don't worry about it.
yeah,
Don't
like has nothing to
don't
do with
even
you.
follow me. I'm just doing. Yeah, like that was the whole thing with like he lost the adamantium. Scott and Jean are getting married. He's leaving them a note, and he's going off to Canada on the motorcycle by himself. Like
Yeah, but not even to get his like he never
he's
wanted
the
the medal back.
he's just on his little Dark Knight of the Souls
Yeah,
journey.
yeah,
He's like
exactly.
leaving Jubilee a note, stuff like that. It was
Yeah,
he doesn't. He's like, well, bye.
because it was
Yeah,
revelatory. He always thought that the claws were given to him, but
yeah.
now all of a sudden
He
they're
didn't know it. Yeah, like it's a very like life changing thing.
yeah,
What does it mean? But also he realizes because like that was the same deal was like Wolverine 75 is he can't fight in the danger room anymore.
yeah,
Like
because
the robots are whooping his ass. Every time he pops the claws out, he's bleeding to death.
yeah,
Like it hurts. It's it sucks. Like his healing factor went like really through it when he was in there like trying to get him back on the Blackbird, like he's knitting himself back together, but the wounds are reopening because he's
yeah,
so hurt.
he's too
So
hurt.
he's leaving because he's really like a weak point for this team.
Yeah, he can't be the guy that he was before, and he does, and that's the only thing he's ever known, to be. So now he has to find out who he
Yeah,
actually really
it's
is.
not like it's not really like a selfish thing. He like if it were a selfish thing, he would just stay there.
Yeah, he would just be a danger to everybody. Like he and the show doesn't ever really show you. I mean, they very deliberately avoid Wolverine because he's just been like, overdone in
Because he's
media.
so popular that like they're like, oh well, we won't give you all this. It won't be just the Wolverine show,
Right. And
which
I
is
can respect that. Sure.
I respect it a little bit, but like he's popular for a reason.
Exactly. That would
You know what I
that
mean?
would be my other point is like he's popular for a reason, so like it makes sense to do his character justice. Like
Hmm.
when Wolverine loses his adamantium, like his mutation goes crazy. He turns into like half a beast almost with a weird
Yeah.
monster face to a degree. And his healing factor actually is like 2x. He becomes basically like Deadpool, where like there's no level of damage that he won't instantly heal from because it turns out that when the metal was grafted to his bones, his body was in a constant 24/7 state of healing and he never was able to fully heal the way that like he should have been able to without the metal. Whenever him and Sabretooth fought, would fuck Sabretooth up, but Sabretooth would heal right away. And Wolverine would always take a little bit longer to heal because he's always in a state of healing. So once that metal was ripped out, his mutations took off. The show and his mutations taking off played a huge factor in like his psyche because he has always struggled with, I'm not a
He was like a
monster.
beast in the woods.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but he was like even before all that, like when he first came to the X-Men, he was working with Xavier to try to tame his animal instincts. Like I'm not an animal, I'm not a monster, blah 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 blah. And
Hmm.
now he is physically turning into a monster it seems. So that's a
Yeah.
part of him that's struggling with
He
like
was like, yeah, he was like, teeth were going nuts.
yeah.
Like, it was kind of like that in that episode a little bit where they're like, all right, what's going on here? Like, it was the same kind of deal where like his hair
Yeah.
has grown out so much. Like, but in the comic, yeah, he was like, he had the thing over his face
Yeah.
totally just like the teeth he looked real crazy. I forgot about that.
Yeah, he was going through it, but like that was a
But yeah,
part of
he
the
was like
journey.
he didn't even live in the mansion. He just lived in the fucking wood.
Yeah, he lived in the woods eating deer and shit. But
Yeah.
like I think there were a couple, like there was one time when he almost got his adamantium back and didn't. That was Wolverine 100. And that was when, oh, I forget that kid's name. It was Cable's kid or Strife's kid or whatever. Kidnapped Wolverine.
Oh, um,
He has a stupid
what
name.
is that guy's stupid name?
It's like Tyler or something like that. Oh, some dude named Tyler.
Tyler
But
X or something.
yeah, he tried to put adamantium back in Wolverine.
X-Man, right? Just
Yeah.
X-Man.
No, that was a different dude. That was Cable from the Age of Apocalypse timeline.
Oh, I gotcha.
Genesis, I think, was the actual name of that. I mean, let me Google.
But
Even have I'd be surprised actually if it's had a page. That's gonna bring up the Nintendo Sega Genesis game.
oh my gosh, I forgot about Kid Phoenix or whatever that stupid character is, and they like put him in one of those in that X-Force episode, and I was like, oh god, this asshole. I think that's the kid with the pink hair that they're like they rescued all these people. Yeah, yeah,
Quentin
yeah.
Quire, Kid Omega.
Yes. Kid Omega, I hate him.
I used to. I feel like I've come around on Kid Omega. His name was Tyler. Yeah. Yeah.
Here I
Tyler
am, Tyler.
Dayspring. Yeah. The X-Men's
It's
greatest
me,
foe,
Tyler.
Tyler. Okay, yeah, he did try. It was this dude he tried. Yeah, under his Genesis identity, Tyler considers himself the new
Oh,
heir
he
of
was.
Apocalypse
Yeah,
and chooses
Genesis.
Wolverine. Wolverine to turn to a horseman. He attempts to erase Wolverine's mind and restore his animated skeleton, but is unsuccessful. Wolverine reverts to his feral state and kills Genesis. Okay, so that's what happened.
Interesting.
I can't remember how he ended up getting his. I think it may have. I think Apocalypse may have turned him into a horseman and gave him his adamantium back.
Oh shit, I think you're right. I think you're right. I'll be
Yeah.
right back. I will be right back, Ski.
Okay. Oh man, my browser is testing out new tab. Thing isn't even registering. Register. I'm getting an e-bike next week. Hell yeah. Congrats on that. Oh, they're talking about they're talking the wolf. Apocalypse. Major storyline, the villain Apocalypse extracts the adamantium directly from Sabretooth skeleton. The fuck did Sabretooth? That must have been after I ever paid attention to the story.
What happened?
Well, I mean, I don't know how accurate this AI summary is, but it says in a major storyline, The villain Apocalypse extracts the adamantium directly from Sabretooth's skeleton and surgically rebonds it to Wolverine's bones to make him the Horseman Death. I don't know where Sabretooth got the adamantium from. That was not ever anything I was aware of.
Does Sabretooth have
I,
adamantium?
not that
I thought he was just like crazy. Thought he was just, I guess maybe his claws are like his little claws, but like I don't know. I just thought he had like some serum or something.
I don't even think he had serum. I think he was that's just him as a mutant. His claws healing and super damn strong.
But he was Weapon X, right?
He was Weapon X. I don't know if they actually did anything.
What's the deal with Wild Child?
Wild Child. I don't know what his lore is in the world. I know that he was a kind of a feral pet of sorts of was it Sabretooth? I think of Sabretooth in the Age of Apocalypse. So in the Age of Apocalypse storyline, Sabretooth was an X-Man and Wild Child was also an X-Man that was like feral and couldn't speak, but was like chained on a leash, basically. And that's what he was a fan favorite. There were a few fan favorites from the Age of Apocalypse that found their way to the proper timeline, like Blink.
Well, did they bring Blink back because they killed her off? Like people were mad.
Yeah, they killed her off in Age of Apocalypse, and then when the Age of Apocalypse ended in the proper timeline, they just basically said, "Oh, here's where she is in the proper timeline. Blink is back." Sort of. And they did the same thing with Wild Child, I think.
They didn't bring her back for a while, I don't think, because people were mad. Like they were like, "We want Blink," and they were like, "No, she's dead and she's staying dead." And people were like, "Marvel, you're the home of people not staying dead, and we want Blink, and you're telling us Blink is staying dead," which is also a Marvel editorial move, I feel. But if she's back, like, I think they waited a long time to really bring her back. I don't think she came back immediately.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wanted more X-Force, which I never thought I'd say in my life. But
I've always liked X-Force.
Do you think they're gonna go Age of Apocalypse, or do you think they're gonna go Onslaught?
I mean, it seems like they're building up something with Apocalypse, but to the degree, I don't know. Because they already this is like X-Men 97 is a continuation of the OG cartoon, the 90s, and they already did Age of Apocalypse in the 90s. So I don't know if they would revisit it.
Did they?
Yeah. Yeah, there was like a kind of a truncated version of the Age of Apocalypse that was done in the cartoon. But I guess it would be cool if they were going to do Age of Apocalypse. I would not like this is what
I don't remember this.
Let me see if I can look. But if they were gonna do Age of Apocalypse, this is what I would want them to do. Don't make it like, well, you either do one of two things. One, make it a animated movie. Or if you're gonna do the TV show, make it a full season. Don't make like 2 episodes of Age of Apocalypse and then truncate everything and make it all weird. Like if you're gonna do it, it's epic. Do it proper.
I have a funny story, kind of.
What's that?
Which is that we have a friend, like not you and me, but me and Daryl Surratt have a friend, Gerald, who is one of the co-podcasters on Anime World Order. And he tried to start reading comics during right when Age of Apocalypse was kicking off, and it made him so mad that like he never read American comics again. And
Why?
I was like, it's not that long. It's 4 issues each book. Like they didn't do like it wasn't a huge like deal. It was
So
miniseries. It was like Astonishing X-Men 1 through 4, like
there were 2.
Cyclops and Phoenix 1 through 4, like that.
So there
You
was
know,
one like trade length issue that kicked it all off. And then you had Gambit of the Externals 1 through 4, Amazing X-Men 1 through
mhm.
4, Astonishing X-Men 1 through 4, Excalibur, I think 1 through 4, and then Weapon X 1 through 4. I think Factor X 1 through 4.
It wasn't a lot. It wasn't. I don't even know that it was that many books. I think you're right. I think it was like that trade or like a bigger issue that started, but then it was just like,
Well, I have the wiki right here because I was based on a cartoon.
yeah, Gambit of the Externals 1 through 4. It's 1 through 4. I don't even know if they put it out for 4 months. I just think they put it out for what? Like,
So
was it 4 months? Was it
it
once
was
a
it
month
was
or
it was
no?
yeah, it was 4 months.
Really?
So it started off with a couple of issues, Legion Quest. That's right, because they went back in time because of Legion and up accidentally.
Legion kill, yeah.
Yeah, and then
That was the whole
this,
thing because they were throwing everything they could at Legion and nothing would touch him.
yeah.
He was so powerful.
So this was that first trade that kind of kicks it off. The X-Men: Dawn of the Age of Apocalypse. Then you have 4 issues of Astonishing X-Men, 4 issues of Factor X, Generation Next, 4 issues of that.
Generation Next, yeah.
4 issues of Excalibur, 4 issues of X-Man, that's Nate Gray. 4 issues of Amazing X-Men, 4 issues of Gambit and the Externals. Then you had Weapon X, and then Twilight. This was the last one. This was the trade that ended
Yeah.
it. X-Men Twilight. And then
Oh
all this
yeah,
other
because
shit was
Wolverine had
way
the
after the
one that
fact.
had the nub hand.
Yeah, he had his hand cut off.
Yeah.
All this other shit.
I didn't read these.
I think I have most of them still. I fucking
I
love Age
just
of Apocalypse.
I just waited.
Yeah,
I
in
guess.
the
I
X-Men.
just waited until it was over.
Yeah, I loved it. I thought it was great. I was all about it.
I don't even, Devin, I couldn't even tell you why I didn't pick it up. I was just like,
I mean, it was a
I
long
don't
time
know.
ago.
Well, but I was like reading because I was reading Generation X. Like Generation X had just kind of started. I think that was like maybe 4 or 5 issues into Generation X after Phalanx Covenant.
Yeah.
And
That
I
sounds
was
right.
reading that pretty like, and I remember reading, I want to say Astonishing X-Men like in Walmart. I remember like because they were like, Storm, you can pick a lock in this universe, and she's like, I don't know what universe you're from where I wouldn't have this like ability to pick a lock or something.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I just didn't have the money, which is possible. It's possible I just didn't have enough money like
Fair
as a
enough.
kid to
I
like
mean,
buy
that's
all these or
a
whatever.
lot of comics. Yeah, I was
Yeah.
stealing yen out of the couch cushions to get a lot
I
of
remember
mine.
like because I remember reading that one at Walmart because it had Storm in it, and then I would see them like it was like when you could still buy comics at the gas station, and I would see it in like the little gas station,
Yeah,
like
the little rack with the turn.
the rack, yeah, the turning rack.
Oh man, what
So
a time!
it's
That was a
possible
great
like I
time.
just didn't have the money to buy comics, or like I had the money to buy comics and those were not because like Walmart for me, like for a little while, Walmart had like the max. Walmart had Gen 13. Like I was buying that
Yeah,
probably. And I was like, I can
the
buy
max.
Age of Apocalypse, which is like limited edition, or I can buy Gen 13
I
and not
still
have to
know.
go
I,
to
s-
Jacksonville.
I still know like most of the opening monologue for the first issue of the. That was a good one. That was
The ma-
crazy. That was like a David
it
Lynch comic.
it really was. It ended very stupidly, I feel. Like I read
Sounds right.
to the end and I was like, forget it. And now I promptly forgot the ending of it and I'm like, great. I don't
But yeah,
once they
there was an
once they switched like they bumped ahead to the future where it's like Sarah and Sarah's Max.
yeah.
At that point it starts to get on a downhill slope for me as a reader. Rest in peace, Sam Keith.
I didn't even know he had passed.
He did. He passed very suddenly. He had some kind of disease. He passed very suddenly, I want to say earlier this year.
Oh, it was very recent.
Yeah. Let me look.
Well, there was one episode in the original X-Men cartoon called One Man's Worth, and that was inspired by Age of Apocalypse. So they at least had one episode. I guess there was a reference in the Wolverine, Deadpool and Wolverine.
Yeah, he died March 15th.
Bummer. He
I
was a great
know.
artist.
He was terrific.
The Max
He was
was.
terrific. The
I,
Max
I
was
just
really something.
I just remember there was one issue where he was like he had broken a lamp and he tried to glue it back together and he accidentally glued his claws into the inside of his palms, and then as soon as he was like, "Oh, I glued my claws into my palms," like all of a sudden a giant shark man just burst through like a door or window or something
Yeah.
and spent the entire issue chasing him. And he couldn't
Yeah.
like do anything because his claws were glued to his hand. So it was just him running from a shark man. I was just like, what in the fuck is going on here?
After he passed away, I guess someone someone wrote, I want to say I could probably go back and look on Blue Sky because I think I found it on Blue Sky, but someone had written this like this memorial of him and he's like, "Yeah, I wanted him to do this Wolverine book." And he just drew Wolverine fully nude. And I was like, dude, we can't publish this. And he's like, what? And they're like, cover him up a little. And he just like drew more hair on Wolverine. And they're like, listen, Sam, like you can't. He's nude. And he's like, fine. And like drew some leaves over his ass or whatever.
that sounds like something Sam Keith would do.
Yeah, it was like I understand you made Wolverine very well endowed and that's great, but we can't publish this. And he was like, I don't see why not.
Oh boy. R.I.P.
It was
R.I.P. to a great.
R.I.P. to a great, just a terrific one. And I have to say, like that Max animated series, almost like panel for panel.
No, it was great. I
Like
liked
really
it.
no show of a comic book like that.
That's
Really almost panel for panel.
honestly that's how I memorized the opening monologue. Like I had that comic and I've read it and I liked it, but it wasn't until I watched that, and I think I still have the VHS of that somewhere.
Oh
Like
wow.
I think. But it wasn't until I watched that where I was like, "Oh, this is interesting." That like I hadn't at that point I hadn't like been exposed to noir, so I didn't really know what it was like that it was trying to do. But like that was where I was introduced to the idea of like a dark noir,
Hmm.
like the rainy environment and like the sad music that plays over it and like the
Yeah, it
thunder.
is a very noir like show. Like the
Yeah.
way that they do this like little bass, constant bass score, I feel I can hear. The thing that was wild to me, because I didn't read the book before I saw the show first.
Oh, okay.
And then watched the show and then started reading. And then I want to say either this past year or the year before. Like very recently, I was like, I need to reread this book. Because I had never read the whole thing. I didn't know what happened. Um,
I don't know it.
and it's fine. You don't need to, it's not great. It's not a good ending. I'm sorry. Like it's just I don't and I can't even be like and here's why it's a bad ending. I just remember reading it and being like, no. Man, whatever. It didn't work for me. That doesn't work for me, brother. But rereading it, I because I'd watch that, like I would tape the show off MTV and rewatch it. And so reading it, I was like, oh, I could hear the show, like I can hear their voices because
Yeah.
it was panel for panel almost entirely. Even in the way they shot it. It like sometimes it just looked like they just shot the book.
I mean, yeah, it was a very
and put the
deliberate
voices over it.
a very deliberate art direction to not make it not seem like the comic. It was like, this is the comic. You're just watching it animated.
You're watching an animated comic. 100%.
Yeah. Just glancing over the story to remind myself, and I remember, oh yeah, this is like super dark.
It's very dark.
Mr.
It was
Gone.
I have to say, very good voice cast for that show. Terrific voice cast.
I'm gonna have to rewatch them. I'm gonna have to find a way to watch these because I feel like I would probably be able to pick up on things I didn't pick up on when I was watched or reading it as a fucking 12-year-old, 13-year-old, because like this shit's dark.
The thing that made me crazy about this is like you never knew when this was coming on. I don't know what it was with MTV because they would be like oddities, and I'm like, great, the Max is coming on. Nope, they're like, we're just showing the head today. I'm like, great,
the
head. But like, you just never knew, and it was the same with Liquid Television. Like, I didn't know when like sometimes Liquid Television would come at its regular time. Sometimes it wouldn't. Sometimes they'd have an Aeon Flux in there, and sometimes they wouldn't. And you're just it was very inconsistent. That's what I want is Aeon Flux. I don't even know if you can buy it.
Have a good night, guys. This conversation is totally lost on me because I haven't consumed the requisite media. Good to see you, Royal. Hey,
hi.
Thanks for stopping by, Wisp. You should consume the requisite media. Have a good night. What is it again?
Yeah,
we're talking about the Max.
Yeah. I don't even know if you can buy like any of that. Like Aeon Flux, the Max. I don't even know if the Max they put it out on like DVD or anything.
Oh no. I would have to imagine. Yeah, they did. Look, the Max DVD. The complete series DVD set. So yeah, I guess they kicked it out on a DVD at some point.
I miss Liquid Television.
That's what everybody says. I didn't really watch it. I didn't have MTV at the time that it was.
You never knew it was coming on. You were like, oh, it's time for Liquid Television. Then it was like, just kidding, here's MTV Amp. And I'm like, oh, give a shit about this. Coming up next after 120 minutes. Great.
Oh, just man. Great. Anyway, so I guess we've gone through we're current on X-Men now. And
we are current on X-Men so far, and then a new one is when? Tuesday? Wednesday?
I have no idea when these things drop, honestly. I feel like Thursday. But I just checked for the new episode on I think Wednesday and it wasn't there. I checked last night and it was. So I think Thursdays.
No, hang on. Let me see. Because I get confused because I'm watching other things too. So I'm watching I'm watching New Ghost in the Shell. Have you seen New Ghost in the Shell?
No, I haven't.
Oh, it's terrific. You should watch it.
Yo, what's up, AB Killen? Welcome back to the stream.
Hey, bro, like Ghost in the Shell?
I haven't ever watched it actually.
Did you never saw like the movie, the old movie? The 2000s or whatever, 1998?
No, I've never watched any of it.
Oh wow, you didn't read the manga?
Nope. There was some things that I just didn't like. I was just like, yeah, all right, whatever. Let it slide off. At
Here's
some point, I
my
can watch it, but
here's my Ghost in the Shell story. I
okay.
read the
Pause for 1 second.
beginning.
1 second,
Okay.
because I one first. AB, I see I see you. Shining Force 3 question. If you don't mind taking it, go ahead and ask it. First, I got to use the bathroom, so I'll be back in 1 second.
Hi friends. I'm sorry I can't see your chats. It's very minuscule for me. So very minuscule. I can't make this bigger. I'm very sorry, but I'm happy to be here. And Devin and I are working on our comic. It is slow going because I have a full-time job. And so I lately have been working on it on my lunch hour. So I go to the picnic table and thumbnail this comic that Devin has written. And right now I am trying to make a large arm weapon for one of the characters, which is not my strong suit, but I'm working on it. And that's where we are. Drawing this comic. The first issue took a really long time because I have a full-time job. And you know, it takes time, but hopefully this one will take not a year. The first issue took me a year. But I would like this to not take 1 year. Is that a kitty cat? And we're back.
All right. Move my chills over your paws, little kitty. All right, I am back.
Welcome back.
Hey. Hold on 1 second. I just ended chapter 4. I have missed having an item in my inventory to trigger the event. Scene of chapter 5. I don't know what chapter 4 and 5. Inventory. I don't know what you're referring to, so need to catch up on X-Men. I'm halfway through season 1. Hey, they're halfway through season 2, so you got some catching up to do. Trying to avoid spoilers? For who? No one besides you and me are playing Shining Force 3, so go ahead and ship key from File. Oh, okay. I think it's part of the story that you don't have it. Yeah, I think that's a part of the story. You get it automatically. You get it automatically after you beat Fael, and then Zero leaves your party, but he comes back. But that's a scenario 2 thing, so you don't have to worry about it until you get to scenario 2. So you're good. Nothing is missed. All right. Anyways,
So here's my Ghost in the Shell story. So Wizard magazine published the introduction to the Ghost in the Shell manga as Ghost in the Shell 1/2 that they included with the magazine. And
yeah,
I was like, wow, because there, like, at the time, this I want to say this was like the mid 90s. And so you weren't getting in the United States, we didn't have a lot of anime or manga at that time.
yeah,
Like there just wasn't very much coming out. And I was like, look at this. And I was like, this lady's nose is just a cursive S. I don't have to draw noses. I can just draw a cursive S. This is great. And that's what I did.
It's so funny you say that because at that same time, like I was living in Japan. So like I saw it everywhere. And to me, it was like the most incredible thing imaginable. Like I would watch American cartoons and be like, this is baby shit. Like I don't want to watch
Yeah.
this toddler shit. Like I would
Yeah.
watch all this interesting, crazy shit on TV, just on broadcast television. And of course, being like a fucking 10, 11, 12-year-old boy at the time, you know, my jam was Dragon Ball Z, like everybody else's at that time. So like whenever I would draw comics with my friends, even like the X-Men inspired comics, all my characters would kind of have like an Akira Toriyama look to it. Because it was like, well, it's cool that the eyes look kind of like trapezoids and shit. And like the noses are
Yeah.
just like little triangles. I don't have to like worry about contours
I don't
and
have to do it.
nostrils and shit.
It was very much like, because I think also when you're that age, it's like you're trying to get the effect of what you want with the least amount of like hassle. That
Yeah.
was my thing, was like, I just want to draw this as quickly as I can. I just want it to come forward as quickly
Yeah.
as I can. And I was like, oh, great. This is, and when I was like younger, when I was in middle school and stuff, like, because I started reading X-Men in middle school, like in 8th grade.
Yeah.
But before that, like as a child, like I always read comic books. My dad bought me like tons and tons of comic books, so I had always read comic books. Like I read like Donald Duck comics and
Oh,
like Richie
Donald Duck
Rich and
comics.
stuff like that.
Oh,
And I read a lot of Archie. And so before that, like the things I drew were like Archie style kind of comics.
yeah.
And so it was like, do I want to draw like Jim Lee? Yes. But is this much easier? Also, yeah.
Well, but that is exactly why I got really big into Joe Madureira, or however you pronounce
Yeah, I loved when Joe Madureira came out, buddy. Oh my God. Like I was
it.
like, this is amazing.
Yeah,
This looks so fucking terrific.
it was the perfect marriage of like anime influence and like Jim Lee influence.
Yeah. It was
Like
Joe Madureira and Adam Warren were like, I was living the life.
I wonder
I
if
was
he's
living
still
a life of not having to draw a nose.
I don't
Now
even know
I'm
what he's been up
playing
to.
catch up ball, trying to draw. Now I have to draw a nose all the time.
You don't have to draw shit.
No, I do. It really kind of like, I have to say, like, one of my friends too, she was like, yeah, when I was in school, I was drawing in this like anime style, and my teachers would be like, nope, you can't do that. And there was no one to tell me, no, you can't do that. And so it kind of put me in like a bad habit in a sense. Like it put me in like, it gave me bad habits, if that makes sense.
I can see that.
I made a lot of shortcuts, and I had to relearn, which is always harder to like relearn to do something a different way when you're used to doing it one way.
Yeah.
But I still like, even when I doodle like in a more anime style. I think when I draw now, it's less so than it was, but like when I doodle, I'm doodling.
I
I'll doodle a little anime style.
I noticed that in your thumbnails. The thumbnails had a very anime kind of quality to it. Oh, that's interesting. Like the thumbnails are anime, but like your general art style does kind of feel more akin to like Archie. Like maybe a more
Well,
mature Archie.
here's the thing, like, because when I tried to move away from kind of a more anime style artwork wise,
Yeah.
I think I moved more towards Jaime Hernandez. who is very like Archie like I feel like very Archie derivative.
How do you spell
The
it?
way like when I look at like Love and Rockets, I'm like, this is the way he draws a face is very like similar to like an Archie character. Um but I feel like it's like I'm trying to make a cross between Jaime Hernandez and Terry Moore. I can see the like influences. I can see it very much like a Terry Moore influence.
I've
I think is a
never
very large Terry Moore.
heard of it. Love and Rocket.
Love and Rockets. It's very slice of life.
Okay.
It's very slice of life, but he has a really great like black and white style. I think people have like the thing that I like about both Jaime Hernandez and Terry Moore is that their characters look distinctive,
Yeah.
and I want my like when I draw characters, I want them to be distinct from one another. I want you to be able to look at them and be like, that's Maury, or like
Right.
this is Kaysen and this is Mason. Whereas like someone like J. Scott Campbell, or even like, sorry to say, but like even Jim Lee, like they'll draw
No,
someone
there were
and the only
times.
reason
Yeah.
like the only reason you know who they are is because the colorist has colored them.
Yeah.
Especially J. Scott Campbell. Like
I can't
I
remember
all I
that
wanna
guy's art.
what's that?
I can't remember his art. J. Scott Campbell. His artwork like.
It like all the like he draws a cute babe, but they all look exactly the same. They look exactly the same.
That
He
sounds
did the
accurate.
cover. He did the cover to the if you look, like I think he did the very most recent Marvel swimsuit, and I'm like, the only reason you can tell who these characters are is because of the colorist. That's it.
Did I like Gen 13? I did.
Gen 13, I really liked when it came out, and I tried to reread it recently, and I was like, ooh, this did not age. This did not age well.
Wait, why
This
why did
this
it not age well?
it's here's the thing, like it's a product of his time. It's just very silly. It's just a silly book. It's not terrible. It's just silly. It's silly. Wait.
Okay. So
Yeah, is that the one with like Black Cat in the front? Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's they all look the same to me.
yeah, I
Same
guess I can see
face.
that. I mean I would never know. Like if you asked me, hey, who's that? That is?
I can't see it.
Oh. Sorry. I guess it is kind of. You're on your iPad, I have to remember.
I am. Like that's Spider Woman
This is?
because of the bathing suit. Yeah.
Oh, that's the only cue, I guess. The
Yeah.
only cue you get.
That's it.
Fair enough. All right. Well,
I
yeah,
don't
maybe
know.
onto something there.
Yeah, that's my thing. Is he just they all the only reason you can tell like you can tell is because they're the coloring or whatever. Like in Gen 13, like they had clearly like delineated costumes or whatever. But yeah, Gen 13 was just a silly book, and it's fine. It's okay. Like your book can be silly. My comics are silly.
Yeah.
Um,
I just don't know.
but it's
Like
just
silly can mean different things given the time. Like
yeah, it's 90s silly.
90s
Early
silly, like
2000s silly. It's silly.
very like inappropriate humor in hindsight type silly.
Probably. I mean, it's just like I don't know. It's just not.
Why do they like his style evolved, I guess, to making all of his women look like fucking Disney characters. They're like sexy Disney characters almost.
He did
Like,
a whole sexy Disney calendar.
did he?
Yeah. And
Oh,
I
goodness
wrote about it one
gracious.
time on Twitter, and he's one of those people who searches his own name because he replied to me.
Oh, was he rude? What did you say? What
No,
did you say about it?
I said J. Scott Campbell is. I didn't like add him or anything. I just wrote it. I was like, J. Scott Campbell put out this sexy Disney princess calendar. Oh, how the mighty have fallen. And he said the Disney princesses or J. Scott Campbell.
Okay, fair enough. That's a little bit of a funny response.
Yeah, it could have been worse, but and that was a long time ago. Like that was a long time ago. But
Oh, AB, do you
more,
guys remember Wildcats from Jim Lee? Of course.
yeah, yeah, of course.
There was that cartoon. There was a Wildcats cartoon.
There was a Wildcats cartoon, and it looked
Yeah,
like shit.
it was shit. With the most annoying theme song ever.
Did
Like,
it?
oh yeah. Oh yeah. Hold on, let me see if I can pull that bad boy up. The
I was
Wildcats
so
theme song.
disappointed. I was so disappointed at how bad that cartoon looked.
Wildcats, 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 Wildcats. And then it was like rapping. They're heroes, not zeros. They've got what it takes. So here's the facts. They got power to the max. You know, they tough ass nails. Like, I think that's how it went. Oh,
I
Wildcats
believe you.
tune. It's so dumb. It is so dumb. Oh, I'm gonna have a huge flashback on this one. Can you hear it?
Yeah.
We're heroes, not zeros. What got what they fear, so here's the fact. So we got power to the max, you know what tough as nails. When all else fails, call nerves of steel. This is the deal. You better watch out.
This is so 90s too.
1000%. I feel
Oof.
like you sang that word for word.
It's in my head. It's been in my head for like 30 years at this point. Like,
Yeah.
it was rough. Like,
I feel like
It was
that
rough.
intro didn't look so bad, but I feel like I watched that cartoon and
Oh,
it
the
seemed
cartoon
very
was awful.
like animated very slow or something. I was just like, what is this?
It's so funny. Like, there are character designs that are timeless, and then there are character designs where you look at it and you're like, that is from like the early 90s, and it doesn't hold up. Like, a lot of what we just saw there looked and it's like, would any of this hold up now? Like, if we like, there's obviously, I mean, you can modernize costume, make it work, but people will look at X-Men costumes throughout the years and be like, oh, I love Wolverine's brown outfit, that was cool. Oh, I love when Storm had her punk rock moment and, you know, had like the spiked
Mhm.
shoulder pads and shit. Or, you know, Cyclops' 90s costume with the pockets and straps and shit. Like, there are character designs that, you know, carry with you. And then there's stuff like fucking, I can't even remember half these characters' names, honestly. I think
The
he's
one,
Spartan.
what's the
Remember
one guy, Grifter?
Grifter, yeah, he was the edgy cool guy.
Yeah.
He was
This one, like, I feel like that's like a little timeless. Like the edgy cool guy, I feel is always gonna be the edgy cool guy.
I
What's that
guess I
lady?
liked.
Is that lady's name Void?
Is
The
it?
like
I can't remember.
the metal lady.
Maybe, but I can't remember at all. Not even a little bit.
And then that
Like,
one lady is like in the coda, right? Zealot?
yeah, Zealot. Yeah, I remember Zealot. That's her right there. I
Yeah.
guess hers isn't the worst, I suppose, but it is
It's very
weird.
90s.
It is very 90s.
The high
Although I guess
ponytail was like a very 90s thing.
the high waisted thing came back, so you know maybe she's a heel.
Because that high ponytail is also a like J. Michael Straczynski Wonder Woman when they changed Wonder Woman to the Artemis. She had that like high ponytail too.
Who the fuck
Was
is
the thing.
this?
Oh, what's her face? Voodoo.
Voodoo. Okay, you're right. Voodoo. Voodoo. Oh.
I can't believe my brain pulled that out of like my
I am
long
super impressed that you just pulled that off.
my memory palace. I don't know where that came from.
Who's this guy? Who is this guy? Because like there were
Um,
two. characters that were like this in the Image world. The other one belonged to Top Cow. It was Cyberforce. I think that guy's name was Ripclaw.
Oh, I think you're totally right. I don't know what this guy's name is unless his name is Cyber. But no, Cyber is like that guy from Wolverine.
That's Wolverine. Yeah, that's the guy Wolverine's scared shitless of.
The guy with the venom claws. One
Yeah.
claw has venom and the other claw has psychedelics. This is the stupidest shit I ever heard in my life.
But it's funny though, because he'll claw someone, he'll claw Wolverine and give him a bad acid trip. That's why Wolverine's afraid
Yeah.
of him.
That's exactly what happens after Wolverine's after Wolverine. Oh my god, I tried to search wildcats and it just gave me species group of mammals, wildcats.
Oh, it was me, and I paid for the Kickstarter for the SWAT Cats reboot and thought this was that for a second. What the fuck are these losers? Lol. Yo, what's up, Toaster? Welcome back to the stream. This is
Hey, Toast.
this is Jim Lee's Wildcats. That's who these losers are.
Jim
Warblade.
Lee and Brandon Choi.
Warblade. Yes.
Oh god, he would be.
I told that doesn't even strike a bell. That's how fucking memory hold this guy is. I can't even be like, oh yeah, Warblade. I remember Spartan and Grifter and Zealot. Voodoo
I
struck a
remember
bell.
Grifter, yeah. Zealot. Maul is the big purple and green guy.
Yeah. Maul is
Warblade.
a Hulk ripoff. Smart scientist type. Can get big, gets dumber as he gets bigger. That's funny. Oh boy, I didn't even know that part.
Grifter's real name is Cole Cash, which is very like
I remember that.
very
Full
much.
cash. Oof, Wildcats. This was so lame. And like, okay, so like, I can't quite remember the conceit of this team, but it had something to do with them trying to stop an alien invasion.
There was a because John Lynch, who is the next like the head of Gen like the mentor for Gen 13, I think is somehow linked with Wildcats because I guess Wildcats links to Team 7 and he was in Team 7. But
Okay.
I don't know that like extended Image universe.
Did you ever watch
I
the
didn't-
Savage Dragon cartoon?
No, but I appreciate the Savage Dragon, which
Do
is
you?
still running, by the way.
Oh wow, that's shocking.
I think it still comes out. I'm pretty sure. Like, I respect the Savage Dragon, but I never watched it.
I don't remember anything about Savage Dragon.
I don't know. I know nothing about Savage Dragon. Like, absolutely nothing.
He's like a cop, but also like he's got like a fin on his head or some shit. I don't know what the fuck it.
He was in the Max, and they just like swapped around that issue for this show. Because I think that one where like he glues his claws in and like Mako attacks him. I think Mako is a Savage Dragon villain.
Oh, is it? That makes
And
a
they
little
just-
more sense then.
And they just made him like a shark guy for the cartoon and left Savage Dragon out of the comic. I
Wow,
think that's
there's,
what
like-
happened. I think it was like a mini crossover with Savage Dragon.
Okay, that makes some sense. He crossed over with a lot of Image. I think there was a Max and Hit crossover at some.
Oh yeah. Oh my god. Every time someone talks about the Pit, like the show, I think of like Pit,
The
the
comic.
comic, the
Yeah.
guy with no nose. I'm just like, Pit? Sam Keith did a Max and Batman thing and it was dreadful.
USA Action Extreme Team!
Are you ready for laser blast in action?
Wildcats!
They push it to the extreme. And how about extreme adventure?
Exo Squad!
They turn
Exo
on the
Squad.
juice. And are you ready to save the world?
Oh my
He
goodness.
can't be beat. And he's the first green crime-fighting machine.
Savage
No,
Dragon!
he's not. They were the Ninja Turtles.
So grab your weapons and get ready to join the team.
Wildcats! Exo Squad! Street Fighter! Savage Dragon! USA Action Extreme Team!
Oof, okay. Well, there were like a few ancillary Image characters that I just didn't follow. Like Spawn was one I probably followed the most. And even that I was like off and on with. But then there was like Savage Dragon. There was like Shadow something.
Oh, Shadowhawk.
Shadowhawk? Yeah, Shadowhawk. I don't
Wasn't
remember.
Shadowhawk like the first Wasn't that like the first comic book character to get AIDS or something?
What? That was wait, what? Shadowhawk? Is that what his conceit was?
There was some, I don't know if it was Shadowhawk, but it was like around that time, and it was like it was like the first comic book character to have AIDS. I don't know if it was Shadowhawk though. May have
Oh,
been
that
something
would.
else.
I
May have just
mean,
been like around that time.
that would have certainly been unique for the time. Just don't remember anything about this fucking character. Thought it looked. I remember seeing the comic and being like, "This looks lame." Even
I
back then.
never paid attention to Spawn, which is crazy to me. I even tried to reread it recently, and I was like, I can't get into this.
At the time, like the big like Spawn's appeal at the time was pure artwork. Like Todd
Yeah.
McFarlane's art was great, and it was violent as shit. It
Yeah,
was
that's true.
gory.
It was very like the I don't know if I'm not sure like how old people are who are watching this, but like that time in the 90s was like really unprecedented. It was really like a moment of these people breaking away from Marvel and DC, which still had comics code seals on everything, and they were like, we're not doing this.
Yeah.
And it was a whole new thing. Like it was
That's why so
like
much of it, like,
that's why Todd McFarlane is a millionaire.
yeah, well, I mean, he was very smart.
Like
He pivoted to those figures.
yeah, he also is like very much like a smart businessman, but like yeah, Todd McFarlane was a millionaire. Like Todd McFarlane was buying like $4 million baseballs for
Yeah.
fun because he was rich, like doing Image and doing Spawn and doing these figures and stuff. But like it was like fucking Rob Liefeld was in a jeans ad, for God's sake. Like it was, you'd never seen anything like it.
Well, I mean, that was a lot of the original, I guess, aesthetic of Image Comics was it's how edgy it was. It was all
Yeah,
about edge. And at that time in the
edgy and
90s,
cool.
yeah, like that was the original appeal of the X-Men too, because the X-Men, they were rising in popularity in the 80s. They were counterculture to what people thought superhero comics were. You would think of a superhero comic and you would Superman, Captain America and the Avengers, Batman, all of that. These are guys that are fighting crime, and there's a bad guy that's trying to do some, who knows, they're doing bad shit, and the good guys save the day. But the X-Men was always significantly edgier than that, because they were, they weren't bad guys or anything, but their whole thing was, the government's trying to fucking get us. And we need to both fight the government to protect ourselves, but at the same time be advocates. And while
Yeah.
we're being advocates, other shit's happening. There are mutants that don't want to fucking integrate in society or whatever. They want to do their own separatist shit. We have to
it
fight
was
those
always
guys.
it was always like a running social commentary.
Yeah.
It was very different. It was very different.
And they it was counter to like the image of the Avengers and all of that sort of stuff.
The other thing too, also, like not only was that the case, but like Jim Lee was on X-Men right before.
All of those Image dudes were on X-Men before they formed Image. Like,
yeah, absolutely.
Rob
like,
Liefeld did X-Force.
Everyone, it was like Rob Liefeld was on X-Force. Jim Lee was on X-Men. It was very popular. Like
Mark Silvestri did
all of these
Uncanny
things were
X-Men.
happening, and then all of a sudden is what it seemed like. All of a sudden, like they broke off to do. They're like, well, no, we're not doing this anymore. We're doing this other thing, and everyone was like, oh, whoa, like because no one. It wasn't happening, and it really like ushered in this whole age of like not only Image like doing this creator owned stuff, which was part of the deal too, was like
Right.
they owned it. It was their work and they owned it. It wasn't like I'm doing this my work for Marvel with their characters. Like these are my characters and I own them.
And Image is, even today, Image is very
Creator owned.
straightforward about being creator owned. Creators retaining
like,
the rights to their shit.
They don't own your IP, like you own it.
Yeah.
And the other thing too also was like that, like once Image started, then all these other places were like, oh, we're self-publishing.
Yeah.
It was a lot. There were a lot of like self-published or like Image came out, Top Cow, like
So
Chaos Comics,
here are
all
the
that kind of stuff.
founders. I'm gonna name the founders' name, and I want you to know if they come from the X-Men branch or not. Some might. I mean, there are some names that I can't say I'm familiar with, but there are some that I do know. So Eric
Mhm.
Larson.
Eric Larson is Savage Dragon. Is the Savage Dragon guy. I don't know what other work he's done. I only know him as the Savage Dragon guy.
Okay. Jim Lee, obviously we talked about Jim Lee.
Jim
Rob
Lee.
Liefeld. Todd McFarlane.
Todd McFarlane was on Spider-Man.
Yep.
So big Marvel name.
I feel like he may have dabbled in. I may be mistaken, but I feel like he may have dabbled in like X-Force. But yeah,
It's
he was
possible.
I'm primarily
I'm
Spider-Man.
not 100% sure.
One of the most
Yeah,
famous
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man covers where it's
Covers,
Spider-Man with like the webs all around him and he's like sitting on the web. That's Todd McFarlane.
I also feel like Todd McFarlane did the Spider-Man cover for Wizard #1.
For Wizard #1.
Yeah, I feel like it's like Spider-Man in a little wizard's hat.
This one. This
and
is
I
the
feel
cover
like
I'm
that's
talking
the yeah. I feel like Wizard #1 is a Todd McFarlane, but I could be wrong. Rob Liefeld hates Wizard magazine by the by.
Does he? Why? Because they keep trashing his shit or something?
No, well, that was a little bit of it, but he was like, they were he said they were changing the price guide, changing the price guides.
Oh.
And so he was like, they were kind of gaming a market pretty much where they were like, oh, we can be like, you shouldn't buy this book, and then we can make it lower in the price guide the next month or whatever the case may be. And he was like, it was just bullshit, which I had never even thought about because I never really looked at the price guide. I didn't use Wizard as the price guide.
Me either.
Yeah,
I never.
like,
I understand. I guess I can see his point there. That's not inaccurate. I can see why you have the issue.
Because it was he said like at the beginning it was like he was like, yeah, we were all in on it. We were like, yeah, because I remember like because this is how I stumbled across this like Rob Liefeld podcast about Wizard Magazine, and his beef with it was because Wizard Magazine did a contest called Party with Rob Liefeld, and if you won, you could go party with Rob Liefeld, and if you were under 18, you would have to go with your parent or guardian. And I desperately want to know who won this and what happened.
I wonder if that's on somebody has to have talked about that on YouTube.
So that's what I was trying to find out, and then I found out that he was like, yeah, at first it was like very much like people who were doing it for love of the game, and then suddenly it turned into like, oh, this is coming out and we don't know about all that. I don't know if you should buy it, kind of thing. And then he's like, in the price guide, like things shouldn't decrease in he's like, they shouldn't decrease in value. It doesn't make sense. So yeah, he would be like looking at stuff, and it was that kind of thing where they would be like, yeah, we don't know about this thing that's coming out that like hadn't even come out yet. It would have been like something that was like debuting next month, and then debut, and Wizard would be like, oh, we don't know if you should pick this up, and then the next month like suddenly there's a drop in the price guide, and he was like, this is a bunch of bullshit.
All right, so it looks like Todd McFarlane's last thing he did before he formed Image was a Spider-Man and X-Force crossover. So dabbled a little bit, but we don't have to count that. So whilst
worked for Marvel. Sorry?
Whilst Portacio
did inks for X-Men for sure.
Yep. Mark Silvestri,
I feel X-Men.
Yep, he did Uncanny. Jim Valentino. I don't know that name.
It's familiar. I want to say yes. I want to say Marvel for sure.
See where he came. He worked on Guardians of the Galaxy from 90 to 92.
Mark Silvestri, I think. I want to say Mark Silvestri did that. Those Outback X-Men.
Yes, he did. Mark Silvestri was the Outback X-Men. Yeah, so like most of Image comes. I mean, they all come from Marvel. But most of did Eric Larson?
I don't know. I really don't. I don't know anything about Eric Larson other than Savage Dragon.
He was at Marvel for a little while. Oh wait, he did Excalibur.
Interesting.
Okay, so yeah, all of them, pretty much fucking all of them were from the X-Men stock. Okay, well shit, there you go. See, the meteoric rise of the X-Men is why Image Comics exists at all.
Do you know Greg Capullo? Capullo?
Yeah,
Capullo?
he did the art for X-Force after Rob Liefeld, and his art had always been kind of likened to Todd McFarlane's.
Yeah, it's very. I think they have very similar styles. He recently said that he was trying to intervene on someone's behalf so that they could get paid from one of the big two comic book companies, and it ain't DC. And I was like, well, damn. That's
mean,
crazy.
is that shocking?
No, but like, it's a bummer. You know what I mean? Like, it's not shocking. It's a bummer that like your reputation, Marvel, for
I think
your talent is so bad that this is not shocking anymore.
I'm pretty sure Marvel is owned by a huge Trump supporter. Perlmutter, is that his name?
Oh, Ike Perlmutter, yeah.
Yeah, like he is famously a piece of shit. So that's...
yeah, famously a piece of shit, but also like it's like editorial. Also, kind of a bummer that like you're like, because I feel like Marvel editorial now is like Joe Quesada or somebody, and like you're really gonna be like, yeah, Spider-Man can't be married happily. What are you doing?
Well, that's cowardice. It's the same thing that happened with Cyclops in the 80s, where they're like, what? You're gonna make Cyclops retired from the X-Men and married and living in Alaska? No, you're not. You're always gonna have Cyclops on a perpetual state of like anguish and struggle. Same with Spider-Man. Spider-Man will never be able to just be like, all right, I guess I'm done. I'm just gonna make some friendship bracelets on the coast and
I
fish.
mean,
And
let him be married to Mary Jane.
it would be, and I honestly, this is why I ended up like in the 90s.
It's what the fans want.
Like after,
it's not like, here's the thing, like Peter Parker being married to Mary Jane and then doing whatever is what the fans want. Like, I don't think the fans want Cyclops to be retired and living in Alaska. I feel like that's the main difference.
well, I don't know. Maybe. I guess that's probably true. Although I've never subscribed to the notion of giving the fans what they want. Like, I think the better thing comes from giving the fans something they don't want. Kind of, I guess, depending. But
it really depends, I think.
Like, but all of that stems from the problem of like just perpetual releases. That's why after the Onslaught story in the 90s, I just stopped reading X-Men. Stopped reading a lot of Western comics because they just kept going. And that's what draw me on to manga, because manga, for the most part, has an end. And you reach the end and you're like, I am done. The story is over.
Onslaught also did not end the way I would have wanted it to.
Well, they used it
because I read it very, like, I didn't read it while it was happening. I read like one issue while Onslaught was happening, and I was like, I don't care about this. And then I read the whole, like, I read like the trade or something, and I was like, this is not how I would have written this ending at all.
Well,
like,
it was
the way that it went into this whole shit where like they get every person, like the Fantastic Four and everyone and their mother involved. I was like,
but
this doesn't need to be everyone and their mother. This is between Charles and Eric.
But this is the point of Onslaught. It was always set up to be used as a vehicle to reboot their least popular series. So they used it to reboot Fantastic Four and Iron Man, and they brought back some of the Image guys, because I think Rob Liefeld, they rebooted that's the famous Captain America drawn by Rob Liefeld, where his chest is like puffed out and shit. That's where that came from. Because like those comics weren't selling because X-Men was the hot shit and nobody gave a fuck about the Avengers. So they were like, okay, we got to reboot this in a way that ties in with the X-Men because that's the thing. But then when we reboot it, we got to bring back all the guys that left that were popular. So people like, oh, these guys are back and they're doing Captain America and Iron Man. So that was the whole reason for the Onslaught thing.
Think
It
too,
was
Devin. I was thinking about this a little bit earlier because we were talking about these guys, but do you remember like there was a very brief moment where Rob Liefeld for sure, and I want to say it was Todd and Jim Lee, but it may have been some other people, but they did like this like they're like, here's what we're putting out, and it was like Captain America, but not. You know, they're like, here's our book, and it was like
Captain
the
America,
most
but not.
derivative. Yeah, it was like it was the most derivative, like not Captain America. You let me see if I can look this up
All right. Devin,
because I
did
saw that
you
you would see the ads for it and you would be like, "What on earth?"
Devin, did you see the new Dynamic comics? They look like a fuck ton of old ass cartoons and basically just made a bunch of comics that look like they'd fit on a heavy metal album. I'm sending you the Space Ghost cover. It looks fucking sick.
Oh,
I,
nice. I'll be right back.
I want Cyclops and
Yeah, because
Iceman to
I'll be right back.
bone. I feel like Iceman would be into that. Maybe Cyclops too. That is pretty sick. A Space Ghost. I never would have associated Space Ghost with looking so hardcore, but it is pretty cool. Oh man, Bob Light. What else was rebooted that time? Let's see. Okay. Reception. Onslaught has been noted as an underwhelming villain. That's the only thing in the reception. I guess I kind of disagree with that. I thought he was pretty thought he was pretty wet. I could be wrong. Onslaught was a crossover event with tie-ins to, okay, so it was the Avengers, Fantastic Four, Spider-Man, but it was used to reboot. I wish they would get into that because that's what I want to look.
Okay, I found it.
What's up?
I found it. So it was right after this thing that happened where Marvel was like, "We want you to do Captain America," and after leaving Captain America, Liefeld attempted to buy the rights to Fighting American, similarly
Oh, the Fighting
patriotically themed.
American. I remember that.
And then Joe Simon and Jack Kirby's widow agreed to a figure that was too high, and he created a new similar character, Agent America, and Joe Simon threatened to sue. Yeah, Agent America. Look that up. Rob Liefeld, Agent America.
Fighting American. I like this thumbnail. We have Cap at home. What is it? Agent America?
Yeah.
Oh, Rob Liefeld.
Yeah.
What was that comic he did with that chick with the huge tits? like Glory or something like that.
Evangeline.
Was it Evangeline?
Yeah,
This isn't even trying to be anything other than Captain America.
that's what I'm saying.
This is just straight Captain. Even has the shield.
Yeah, they were like, he can't throw the shield.
Jeez. All right. Well, okay, Agent America. That's such
Yeah,
a
it even has like a skull. There's even a dude with a skull. Like
as a
it
villain.
was, yeah,
Oh
it
yeah, I
was
see it
fully
right here.
derivative. I want to say there was another. I want to say there were other ones too. Like
And the
I want to
skull.
say,
Wait, their skull guy is also a Nazi. What are the odds that they would also have a skull guy who is also a Nazi?
I'm telling you,
Jeez. All right, and he
it
has
was
his own little
it was
Bucky.
like it was nothing but derivative.
I think that's worse than derivative. I think that's just a straight up ripoff.
Yeah, like that's all
Like,
it was.
that's
That's
lawsuit
why he almost
bait.
got sued.
Yeah, that's lawsuit bait. Good lord. All right. Well, shit. What is Rob Liefeld up to right now, anyway?
He has a podcast.
Oh, I'm sure it's very entertaining. Rob Liefeld. So it was Evangeline? Let's see. There was some stuff like
Evangeline, yeah, is the lady with the sword. I
Like,
think.
some of
Yeah.
his shit awful. There were a few things where I was like, oh, this is actually kind of like
I don't really think I didn't like his art, so I never really read anything he did.
his art was interesting. It always
I
looked
guess he
stiff.
I guess he created Deadpool.
Bloodstrike. Guy's just like Brigade. Glory. Okay, he did have some,
Mm-hmm.
which I think
There was definitely a crossover between Glory and Evangeline.
because I think they're probably like the same character. Or like I feel like because Evangeline I don't think was a part of Image. I think Evangeline was like part of yeah, it was awesome. I guess it was awesome awesome entertainment or something.
Yeah, Awesome Comics.
So I think that it was basically oh boy, we're falling into a wormhole here.
The Rob Liefeld wormhole of tiny feet.
Cloven hooves for yes, Glory was the character that I remember.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, God, Jesus Christ, but the proportions on this fucking woman. What is going on here? Okay, it was Glory I was thinking. At any rate, he had some stuff. I think there was Young Blood was weird. I never really super got into it. Newman for a little while I did, but there was Bloodpool. Obsessed with blood. Bloodpool, I think.
Excuse me.
Yeah, Bloodpool. This one wasn't Jesus. Why are their thumbnails like? This one wasn't bad. From what I recall, this one was not bad. I think this was kind of along the same lines as like Gen 13. This was just on the Rob Liefeld side, the Extreme Studio side, rather than
Mm-hmm.
the other one top. But I preferred this way.
Here's what I heard, which I couldn't believe, but it's true. Which is that he'll do like they'll get Rob to do like a variant cover for something and it will sell the fuck out.
Oh, I
Like
believe
people
that.
want these. Like I
believe
was
that.
just like, yeah, it was just like forget it. But he was like I guess he's doing this platform called Whatnot, and he just sells direct on Whatnot because he says that he did like these variant covers, and he's like, retailers have proven unreliable with their distribution of my work. I can't allow their inconsistent practices to dictate terms of my engagement with customers. My customers are left scrambling again and again for copies of my work when they couldn't even order my Batman cover correctly that sealed it. For months, I go to stores and their shelves are stuffed with unsold product, 15 to 30 copies of comics that did not move off the shelves and won't unless they are part of a discount sale opportunity.
Oh, weird.
All of this is gone. My Batman cover is sold out everywhere. The retail situation is upside down. I'd rather be with the guy with the empty slot due to demand exceeding supply, but all these unsold comics represent a huge misfire on behalf of retailers. Direct to consumer will continue to grow. So, I don't know. Like, I'm not. The thing is, like, Rob also has had people dissolve partnerships with him before because they think he's not a good business partner.
Yeah, I've heard that too. Like, they can't all be Todd McFarlane, I suppose. And that's kind of the issue with creatives. Going into business with creatives, you're going to have a lot of egos, a lot of bad business senses, people chasing artistic vision over whatever makes sense from a business standpoint, and just people who are generally not good people. And I haven't heard that of Rob. I've heard pretty decent things about him.
I don't feel like he's a bad person or
Yeah,
anything.
not at all,
I
not at
just
all. I just don't know
he
how
just
much he cares about like being a business tycoon.
well, here's the thing. I think part of it is like I think he's had to fight a very hard battle with Marvel over a lot of stuff,
Yeah,
which is something that really sucks. Like, honestly, too, I think like the seeing all this kind of stuff play out as someone who was primarily like, and still, I get not necessarily still am, but like a person who was like, for me, like I was a Marvel Comics reader
yeah,
for a long time, and to see this kind of stuff play out where like people are having a hard time getting paid, where like Rob Liefeld is trying desperately to get these like, you know, um residuals,
yeah,
which Marvel should be definitely paying because they're making all this bank off these fucking movies. Like, yes, they should definitely be paying people residuals for this stuff. Like being snubbed at like a movie premiere for a character you created,
yeah,
stuff like that, like that's rough. I feel like I think that would like be very difficult for me. And it's kind of like bracing to see that happen to other people because then you can be like, okay, how can I avoid this in the future?
yeah,
You know what I mean? It's kind of like, uh, how. But in that kind of thing, because, like, that was all there was for a little while. And the way they do business is so different, especially now. I think they're like moving everyone to California. I think they're closing offices in New York, Marvel.
Oh, really? That's the
Yeah.
rationale there. Like, it can't be to fucking save money because California is as expensive as New York.
I mean, the other thing too, like I saw recent, like I was looking at whatever was on Amazon Prime, and they had a Mike Mignola documentary, and he was like, the only reason I got work at Marvel is because I was in the office every day, and they would see my sad sack face hanging around, and they would be
Yeah,
like, we need this book out tomorrow. Can you please ink it? He was like, I was just in the bullpen,
yeah,
and that was the only reason I got any work. Um, and he's also someone who like was trying to make shit work, like with Marvel, not in a different way though, like where it was something where like he just wasn't they didn't really go together. And so he
Yeah.
was like, I had to do my own thing. I had to do my own story. And now it's like this extended universe that is, I think, like the most intricate, like, extended universe of like someone who just has their own comic, this Hellboy universe, right? um so that was also like something to think about. It made me think a little bit of like, okay, how how important is it for you to like contribute to something that can really never be yours versus putting out something that is yours where you have the final say and it's not a corporation.
Uh, hold on a second. First time chat from Ryzek Mystic. Yo, hey, welcome to the stream. Hope you're having a
Welcome.
good night. There's a Naruto Ninja Turtle crossover that does a really funny thing where instead of having the Ninja Turtle do cross-dimensional shit, they just say the Ninja Turtles have always existed in this world, live in the Big Apple, or Big Apple City. It's just fucking New York, but New York City, but more Japanese. That's what they call it. They call it Big Apple City.
That's funny.
Still trying to figure out how Scrivener, by the way, to make that pitch Bible. Scrivener, the learning curve is kind of steep, which is why I only use it in a very shallow capacity, but it is a good program. But anyways, to your point though, yeah, I've never had an interest in like, even at the heyday of my drawing comics myself, I never had an interest in like, oh, working for Marvel or want to pitch a comic to Marvel, pitch a comic to DC or anything like that because of that reason. Like, I had already had read a lot of horror stories about, pitching things to the big two, and obviously they retain rights. They retain the rights to the IP. Even if they're if they're interested at all in your own original idea, they would return those rights. But on top of that, they just aren't. You have to be willing to work on whatever they assign you to work on for the most part.
Yeah,
So you could be just
it's very much their terms.
yeah, you could be working
It's
on some
very
shit
much
that
their
you have no
terms.
interest in, right?
You can also like, and the other thing too, especially like for writers, I think, because I think people think that like you can get put on this book and like write whatever you want, and it's not the case. Like you have editorial guidelines that you
Oh,
have
for
to
sure.
follow.
And there's a lot of
Um,
guidelines and a lot of like established lore that you have to adhere to, and it's not like you have free reign. You have to be
yeah,
a mega established writer of some esteem and credibility in order to be able to, do a Hickman when Jeff Hickman reboots the X-Men and does Krakoa and shit like that. Like,
yeah.
that's a rarity.
It's the other thing too, like when I was, but like when I was a kid, yeah, like I absolutely want. I was like, I can draw X-Men. I get paid to draw X-Men. I want to do X-Men.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't know. I don't think it's the. It doesn't have the appeal that it used to, for sure. And
I think X-Men would be more fun to do as like as basically a fan comic, so you can just do whatever the fuck you
yeah,
want.
that's kind of how I felt about it too, because I just felt like the way, I don't know, like it just, they were just like the ways that they were structured. Because I think if if I were gonna do X-Men, I would want to do like, remember when we were kids and it was like, it was around that time. It was actually, I think, when the X-Men cartoon was coming out, because people were going nuts for X-Men and they were re-releasing the older issues as X-Men Classic.
Yeah, that was how I got into the X-Men
And
initially.
I was always reading X-Men Classic, and that's what it would have been. I would want to write like Storm, Shadowcat, Nightcrawler, Colossus, like
Yeah.
Wolverine, that era, like Storm fighting Callisto for Angel,
Yeah.
which is like a fucking baller issue, by the way.
No, that was a great
Terrific
issue.
issue.
He stabbed her in the heart and then like stomped off.
And there's nothing. Like, and that also, that's another thing that I think is like terrific about that era of X-Men, because there's another one close to that time where it's like they're like, you're invited to Wolverine's wedding, and he has like a battle with Silver Samurai, and it's
Yep.
totally silent. There's no sound effects, there's no word balloons, there's nothing. And it's the same with that fight with Storm. There's no sound effects, it's just expressions and action, and it's not flashy, it's just very dramatic.
Yeah. The purpose of it is the drama of like, and that was like understanding. That's the closest that those Marvel comics at that time got to like manga, where it's like
Yeah,
the
there's
intent
a
of this is just the artistry expressing storytelling through
yeah,
character.
it's like exactly what the medium should be. Is you don't need a fucking caption for it. You know,
Yeah.
like, because when we were growing up, like, especially like towards the later 90s, early 2000s, the whole page would be full of captions
Oh yeah,
for
yeah.
no reason.
A
Like, no
shit ton of
reason at
like
all.
narration. There were
Yeah.
and like I will say there were some instances like when the Wolverine comic first started, the captions were his narration and it was him and
Mhm.
Madripoor, and it gave it kind of like a noir quality. Like
Yeah.
the narration
And
of a
I'm
noir
not
film.
like to using it, you can use it to good effect or ill, but I just think that like at a point it gets overused when
Yeah,
your entire thing is like you have a picture to tell some of the story.
right.
And on the flip side of that too is like I think because like apparently every time they try to make these like the Dark Phoenix saga or whatever into like a movie, it flops. And I think it's because that Dark Phoenix story is narrated by Jean Grey. Like, it's her being like, I'm doing this and I don't understand it, but I kind of like it, and I have annihilated an entire planet. Like, it's very personal, and it's not gonna come across in a film without a voiceover or something.
There is a no, I would say there is a way to do it, but it's hard to do it in a film when you're trying to cram in because like
Yeah,
The
that's the other
Phoenix
thing
Saga.
too, is like they try to put 900 things in it.
Like the Phoenix Saga are two parts. There's the Phoenix Saga and there's the Dark Phoenix Saga. And they both kind of link together through like Jean growing comfortable with the Phoenix powers. Like after the Phoenix Saga, she's on Earth and all that. That's when she starts to, have the dark side, manipulate. And it's not just the dark side. It's what's that dude's name? Mastermind? Like he's fucking
Oh,
with her.
that's right.
Like he's fucking with her and to a degree she's aware and allowing it. Like that's the other part is that she ends up having this like I guess psychic affair sorts with
Yeah.
Mastermind where it's totally fucked up because they're like he's like a slave owner and shit in this fantasy and she's like they're like on a plantation or some shit.
Yeah,
It's so weird.
she's like they're doing like a fox hunt and stuff.
Yeah, like
They're like fox hunting or whatever, and he's like kill the thing. And she's like, I slit its throat and it was great or whatever.
yeah.
Yeah, it's a whole like creepy thing that
Yeah.
they're doing.
But like it's a slow burn. That's the point, is that it's a slow
Yeah,
burn
it absolutely is.
that
It's a whole
shows
like
you,
it's a
yeah.
psychological like long involved storyline.
Yeah, that's hard to do in like one movie. It would be tough to do in two movies, but that's again like so much of this stuff is like if you have the capacity to create TV shows at the way that you do with streaming services, do it correctly. You can have one season of the or two seasons of the Phoenix Saga and then 2 seasons of the Dark Phoenix saga. So you'd have 4 seasons, and you have all the runway you need to introduce your characters, to introduce what Jean's personality was like, her big character thing early on, which is that like she had all and this is kind of what created, this was the impetus for Chris Claremont to create the Phoenix Saga. She was always viewed as the weak link in the X-Men. She was never as popular as the other characters and wasn't regarded as being as powerful, I guess. So the whole idea behind the Phoenix Saga was, I'm going to take this character that is viewed as like the weak link, and then I'm going to make her incredibly powerful and make her like by far the strongest, and see where that takes the character. So you could have your character start off that way on this long arc show, and then really show people, okay, she starts off timid, she starts off feeling like the weak link or whatever, or even if she doesn't necessarily feel that way, maybe that's just how others see her or whatever. Not like the X-Men, but maybe other people kind of see her as that. And then
They kind of did, like, because this is like, Jean is one of the original X-Men, and it was very much like she was the only girl on the team.
Yeah.
They were very much like pandering to her sometimes.
Yeah,
like,
and that's a dynamic that gets lost in translation too. So like starting and we can end this stream in a bit because my voice is getting a little chapped, but this is also a point that I always try to make about Wolverine. This is what, if I had my way with the MCU, this is how I would handle Wolverine in the Marvel movies. When you have your first X-Men movie and you introduce Wolverine, he has to be an obnoxious, arrogant, angry, conceited, borderline racist, definitely misogynistic pissant. Because that's what Wolverine was when he first joined the X-Men. Everybody knows Wolverine as being like the silent, brooding guy who like grunts, but that's Wolverine after he went through some shit. Like early on, Wolverine was like a not likable guy. So you need to focus on making sure that audiences hate Wolverine for the way that he acts. He totally acts like fucking someone who would be Manosphere adjacent, you know? Like, so make him that, because the important thing about that as his starting point is his character development, because he has all
Yeah.
of these great conversations with Nightcrawler about faith and the fact that he kills, and is it right for him to kill, is it justified, and what does that mean for him, is he a monster because of it. Like, he doesn't necessarily have a problem with killing if he has to, but then like Nightcrawler questions it and all this other sort of stuff, and that causes him to like think about himself as like this hardened killer. And then
It's very
Shadowcat
much
comes
like-
along, and Shadowcat, he's like, okay, this is a girl that looks up to him, he mentors her, and his relationship, he kept calling Storm a dumb broad to the point where Colossus angrily throws him over a castle for it. Like, he tells him, he's like, if you call her a broad one more time, and then he calls her a broad, and then Colossus picks him up and throws him like over a castle. And like, he goes from there to like being the basically big brother figure to every female X-Men that crosses the doors. So like,
Yeah.
that's a huge character transition, and it's like, nobody knows like that part of Wolverine, because
It
everybody
takes
just,
time.
that's what I'm saying, you have the capacity to
it
do it
takes
with these
time.
shows, but don't rush it. Like,
And an example of like a show that does do this pretty well was the most recent Batman animated series they did, because the entire
I need to
first
watch that.
season, oh yeah, it's fun. But the entire first season, like, obviously like every episode has something happening, like it's like, oh, the penguin, oh this, oh that.
Yeah.
But as those like stories are progressing, the overarching arc of season 1 is Harvey Dent's descent
Into madness. Yeah.
into Two-Face. And that's something that's like, that for like a lot of times you didn't really see that, like that long burn, but you are getting it. It's like, he's the DA. He talks to Bruce Wayne. Oh, what's going on? Is he being corrupt? Is he not being corrupt? Like,
Yeah.
is he getting in too deep? Kind of deal like that. It's just, it was the full season, like long, slow burn as other things are happening. So you're not just like, it's not just like the Harvey Dent show, you know what I mean? But
Right.
it's gradually like brewing as you go along. But yeah, it was a really good show. I thought it was like a really like atmospheric, well done. Also, people are getting murdered.
Okay, I'm
I
gonna
was
have
like,
to put
oh,
that on my list then. It's the Caped Crusader, right? Is that the one?
yeah, Caped Crusader.
Yeah.
Caped Crusader.
Okay. It's 1:30 a.m. I got to go to bed for work. Good stream, good job. Hey, thank you, Toaster. Stopping by and hanging
Thanks,
out.
Toasty.
I think it's time for us to call it for tonight ourselves.
Yeah.
But yeah, this was great. Oh, big discussion over comics in general.
Yeah. Love comics. Are you reading comics right now?
No, actually, I'm not. Is there something I should be reading? You know what? Actually, I need to. There was one comic I started reading years ago, and I stopped reading comics in general. Motor Crush. Catch up on that. I loved the art for that too. That was an Image comic years ago.
I think that I'm trying to think of what I read something recently and it was not great. But the thing that I read most recently that was the most interesting was probably Adventure Man.
Adventure Man?
Adventure Man, which is I think Matt Fraction and Terry Dodson.
Oh, I like Matt Fraction.
And I actually, Devin, recently started reading like some Batman trade paperback. Did not finish a Batman, but this one, buddy, I was like, I don't care about this.
Okay, which one was it? I don't read Batman.
Here's the thing, like I usually like that. I feel like I said, like I'll usually read any but this was called Dark Prisons, I think, and it was like this is like some long involved storyline that was like happening before I even before this
Yeah.
book even starts. Like something else was going on, and I was like, "Oh, buddy, I don't. This is some bullshit." However, that said, if you another thing that the trade came out this year, it's called Batman Dark Patterns, and it's really good. So I would say if you do pick up a Batman book, pick up Batman Dark Patterns.
Batman Dark Pattern.
Yeah.
I guess middle school Batman symbol.
Yeah, I thought it was terrific. I had a good time reading it. Yeah, I would say read Batman Dark Patterns.
I can't remember the last time I read a Batman. What was the Batman book where he shows his dick?
Does he?
Yeah, there's a Batman where he shows his dick. Obviously, I can't Google that, but but if you Google it, you will find it.
Really?
Yeah.
Hanging Dong?
I'm surprised you're not familiar with it. That was
Little
a
Bruce?
thing. It was like, was this Batman's dick? And sure enough, it was Batman's.
Oh my god.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and call it for tonight.
Okay, thanks for coming, friends. Thanks for
Hey.
having me.
Thanks for hanging out and talking X-Men and all sorts of comic stuff.
Yeah, I love it.
We got our own comic to work on too.
We do. I talked about it while you were on the bathroom break, so
Oh,
you
yeah?
can look at the VOD later.
Yeah, there's a lot. Actually, you know what? Like, I just like, so I have. So I've got my dying on me. I've got my Mixum thing up still. So pages are all laid out. I have Kite's coloring in here too. So I'm almost ready, but like I do need to put something here. I'm missing I can't leave this blank for something. So
Okay.
I think I
We'll-
talked to you
we'll-
about that before. Like I need something
We'll get
there.
it figured out. We got some sketches or something we can put
Yeah.
in there.
Then a new cover.
Yeah.
It's close though. I'll figure that. But yeah, we're close on the first issue.
Here
Real
we are,
close.
friends.
And you started on the second.
Thumbnails have been thumbnailed.
I'm excited. Excited.
Me too.
We'll see if we can pitch it to Rob Liefeld.
Rob, please.
He'll be all about
Uncle Rob, please.
it.
Uncle Rob. Then we could be partying with Rob Liefeld. We wouldn't even have to win a contest.
Yeah, we should be partying with.
Let's party.
All right. You have a good rest of your night, all right?
You too. I'll talk to you soon.
All right, bye.
Bye.
All right. And with that, I myself am also clock out for the night. All right. Thank you, everybody, for joining. I appreciate it, as always. I will be back tomorrow, probably playing Mass Effect 2. So, see you again then. If not, take care, and I will see you when I see you. Later, everybody.